Sounds good. Okay, we are live. Welcome all to another, well, first time I've called it TTIF. Thank TOS, it's Friday. The problem is I'm stuck with two sick co-hosts. Um, say hello to Joe and Tim, those of you in the chat. I'm the only healthy one tonight. Maybe I can shed some of my healthiness on you guys. Yeah, I cut the grass today, got it all done after I got my fresh batteries from our Black & Decker. Let's give Black & Decker a plug. Why not? Black & Decker lawnmower at 6 years old, changed the batteries, fired that up. I'm like, my quiet Lexus. Yeah. But anyway, hello, Keegan. Heather. Hello, Heather. How are you? Happy Friday evening, and thank all of us. It's Friday, not just me, right? So to those people who suggested use Thank TOS, it's Friday, thank you. I'll use it. TTIF. Let's see here. Ansel, hello. Chris Samuels.
Terry, look, 3 a.m. where he's
3
at.
a.m. You're staying up. Well, thank you, Terry, for staying up. You don't have to. These are replay. I do not edit these videos normally, but hello. Hello, Steve Winkler. How you doing? How you doing? I feel like New York. How you doing? I was watching Switch Linux did something a few nights ago. He was doing something in the terminal, setting time zones or something. He says time zone, New York, and then he tried to do a New York accent. New York. Forget about it.
Yeah.
But he didn't do it that. He did it with his own. I was like, nah, it doesn't. It's not convincing. No. God bless him, but it's not convincing. It's like, nah. You got to put the heart and soul, like New York, how you doing, but that's right, Steve Gunnick, batteries and a lawnmower, forget about it. I haven't seen a gas station in 6 years, well, for my lawnmower. It's awesome. Yeah. There's no maintenance. You just, when it's dead, just plug it in my cell phone. Yeah, my cell phone. I plug in I wish I could plug in my cell phone charger. Yeah, plug in the Black & Decker charger. Distro Tube. I sent you a link, DT, if you want to join. So tonight's...
It's funny, I only read part of it. It says hello. It says, good evening, ladies. And I didn't see the gents part, so I thought he was being smart.
Yeah. It's more like good evening, ladies, and sick gents. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those days. My mom wasn't feeling well, but like I said, I was able to cut the entire grass, and it's a lot. I have like a corner house. I got the front lot, the back lot, the corner lot. It was a workout today in the humidity and the heat. I'm not complaining because I got a good workout. But now I'm feeling nice and mellow after the, workout. So
that and the bottle of wine maybe help too, right?
One, right? Only one bottle, yes.
Yeah. But you didn't say how big the bottle was. Like in our house, there used to be a gallon of Chianti.
I had to borrow my friend's forklift across the street. I got to bring it back, but thanks for reminding me, Joe, to pick up that crate of wine. No, actually, today I didn't have any, but tonight wine sounds good, actually. Yeah, some red wine.
You know what was one of the best scenes in a movie talking about wine? The jerk. When he had the white wine and the red wine with the little umbrella, the glasses out on the tennis court, that was one of the all-time favorites.
Yeah, when they were in the restaurant and they said, "Quit bringing us this old stuff. Can you bring us a bottle of fresh wine?"
Yeah.
Jeez. Hi Heather, how are you? Steve says most people don't realize that higher octane like 93 should be used in small engines. Well, my electric lawnmower doesn't have an engine; it has a motor. They will run better, cheaper. I mean, if you're talking cars, I believe that if it's cars, I believe that was debunked. Unless it says specifically on the gas cap and the manual, you don't have to use higher octane. I think I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Of course, in my my Buick, I just use regular gas. So.
The small engines, I think that he's talking about, I had heard that at least the 89 works a little better and kind of helps keep them running a little better. But you're right about the cars.
Yeah.
The mechanics that work on my new vehicle said no, 87.
No, unless it's required, unless it says it, you don't. It's just a waste of money. Keegan says, did you drink too much wine and get the driveway mode? I thought it looked kind of clean today, yeah. Hi, DT.
Hey, how's it going? Hey.
Say hello to Derek from dtdistrotube.com. But no, I did not have the driveway mode. I grabbed the Black & Decker, another... Black & Decker should sponsor these live events. I'm giving all this plug tonight. I did not mow, but I blew it with my Black & Decker leaf blower. Corded one. I didn't buy the cordless one because I don't use it that often. But anyway, no, I did not get the driveway mode after I drank the wine. No. Steve says you would get spark knock in your car. You use 91 or 87. Okay. Yeah, I just go with what's the car's recommended. For my friend's Land Rover, I think he mixes premium and regular, but I think it either says recommended premium. Look, if it says recommended premium, you can go either way. If it says required, you better use premium. You're going to ruin that engine, from what I understand. Penguin Pacific. That's a great name. Penguin. Hi, Penguin. How are you? Yeah. If you're new, welcome. We have a little custom here. Everybody please say welcome to Penguin Pacific. And if you're not, we're going to say welcome anyway. So, yeah. Hello, Kenny. Yeah, everybody please say hello to Penguin Pacific. Tonight's main topic will be Patreon. 5 years later, last month, May, today June 1st, was 5 years of Patreon already, believe it or not. So I thought we would talk a little bit about that. Maybe go into some random news and a little bit of your comments for this evening. Yeah, welcome, Heather. Penguin, I'm assuming you use Linux since you have Penguin in your name. What kind of Linux do you use? And if you don't, that's okay too, but I'm curious. And are you from the west of the States? Pacific? I'm just guessing. I was reading about one of the news items that YouTube viewership among teenagers has shot through the roof, and it's plummeted for Facebook in the last couple of years among teenagers for whatever reason. Linux Lite 4.0. Very good. I've always liked Linux Lite for beginners. Hi, Daniel. Welcome to the stream. Maybe next week I'll have, or maybe during the week I'll do a live, my top Linux distros of 2018 so far.
I just signed up for Diaspora on your recommendation last night because you said DT also did that too. So I
DT works for him. I actually had to sign up twice. I did it the first time. I got a confirmation email. When I went to log in, I couldn't log in. When I went to I thought maybe my password. When I went to click forgot password, user email, it says this email does not exist. Even though on my phone it says I use that email. So it's okay. It's okay. I just signed up twice because I'm so special. But I am on Diaspora.
Yeah, I think I've already added both of you guys
Thank you.
to my contacts.
Yeah. I am on Diaspora. I take it 3 times a day with wine. No, wait a minute. That's a different thing. That's what it sounds like. It's either a pill or something you do in the bathroom. But
I put my business or my PowerPC name, and I figured you'd figure it out when you saw the icon.
I saw it. Yeah. So we are on Diaspora. So that'll be my exclusive YouTube sharing. I don't really share that much on Facebook as far as YouTube. Nothing wrong with it. So check us out on Diaspora. Greetings, switch to Linux. Let me send you a link. Switch. Let's see. Reading this email here. Okay, hang on a second. All right, Tom, check your, what do I have? Save your Hotmail. Okay. All right, link is being
heard
sent.
Hotmail in a long time. Not too many Hotmail users still around.
Yeah. We had issues trying to send them a link a couple weeks ago. The Hotmail one worked. I'm like, whatever works. I'm not picky.
What was he having problems with? Gmail?
I forget. Maybe he can explain it again. Something didn't work for him. But anyway, the Hotmail, it saved on Gmail for me, so I just used it. So we'll just go.
And
I
we just
invited
use what works.
yeah, just use what works. I invited Tim O, and he won't be able to make it. Tim O, not a problem. Everybody's sick tonight anyway. Well, not everybody, but Tim and Joe are sick tonight, so sort of sick, but
sick and decrepit.
Sick and decrepit, yeah. So I have unstable tube, DT with some of his testing. No, I'm just kidding. Then I have my other friends tonight who were bubbly. Anyway, all right. Looks like we're good there. We'll give it a few minutes and wait till Switch comes in. Then we'll talk. We'll talk a little news, like a few news items. We'll go into a little bit thoughts about Patreon, and we'll highlight DT's channel on Patreon and go from there. Maybe we'll take a look at Brian Lunduk's, since there was a lot of supposed controversy on that. I didn't think so. And then we'll have a discussion about that. But Patreon is its 5-year anniversary. Last month already. Imagine that. Check my messages here. I got a message from Facebook. Okay. One of my son's friends. My son had his high school graduation party this Monday. Past Monday went very well. A lot of his friends showed up. It was nice. It was a nice warm day, no rain. So, man, time flies just like that,
Looks like Mint 19 beta is releasing next week. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen more Ubuntu-based distros release, on the new 1804 yet. Linux Lite really is the first major one to finally get something out. Still waiting on Elementary and Mint.
They'll be coming. Yeah.
Peppermint, yeah.
Elementary isn't going to release until I would guess they're probably not going to release until sometime towards the end of June or July.
Yeah.
I tell you, I loaded Linux Lite 4.0 up in a VM, and even in the VM, it's like I love it. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I'm thinking about actually putting it on the test laptop in place of Peppermint for a while.
Linux Lite, every time I look at it, I'm impressed with it too. But the one thing I don't like about this new edition, and it's probably not their fault, they no longer offer a 32-bit ISO.
Tom, how you doing?
So, yeah. Hey, Tom. But that's getting to be the norm, don't you think, Derek? That
it is, but for something like Linux Lite, a lot of people that would download a distro like that would probably want to put it on some older hardware. So not having a 32-bit image is,
I was actually digging around and I found a 32-bit tower, an old Dell.
Wow. Okay.
An old Dell. God, I can't even remember what it is. I was digging around earlier in the week through boxes since we moved, and like, what is this thing? Oh my God.
There was a video that Dolphin did that I came across. I don't think it was that terribly old, but he did something about a video on how to run distros that are, I don't know if it was an actual 64-bit on a 32 or something like that, but being able to run distros after they weren't supposed to be able to run them anymore or something. I'll have to ask him next time I see him, because I just saw it the other day, or go back into his library and look, but it popped up after watching, I actually think it was yours, Carmine, the other day, and then you know how it'll default to something else that's on your interest list, and then his came up, and it was I found it very interesting. It obviously it takes a little bit of effort, which that's the sad part, because it's not a matter of just building an ISO and throwing it up on there, but it wasn't horrible.
Right.
But you're right, Derek. When you have for older hardware, I still think there's going to be some sort of distros out there for older hardware. I don't think every one of them has to support it. No. I guess you would think by default or common sense, a 32-bit should be supported by something that's light running. But then again, who says it has to? I mean, realistically,
it doesn't have to. Yeah. As long as you still got some other stuff out. I mean, we still have Antics that'll run fine on 32-bit. Puppy's still out there. I mean, we've got things we can still use. But
yeah.
Another half a dozen years, though, there's not going to be too many 32-bit machines running around.
Probably
anyway.
not. No. I guess somebody's saying EB. Steve Winkler says EB English Bob from the UK did not have a good review for Linux Lite. Yeah, I thought I caught something, and then I think I replied, "Forget about it" or something. I don't know what problem he had.
He gave it an 8 out of 10, I think.
I didn't watch the whole video.
Well, that's not bad.
He was expecting perfection or a 10 out of 10 or whatever, but
yeah, I thought it was good. I mean.
You're the one that prompted me to put it on my in the VM for starters before I put it on my other machine, Tom. I watched yours the other day. That was great.
I might because I'd like to get my next Linux distros for 2018 out soon, and so I'm thinking about putting Linux Lite on my computer right now, replacing Debian for a couple weeks.
Tom, just as a note, when you were looking at the information files that they had, and it said about changing different. Like Mate or Budgie or whatever, where you can do the different desktop environment. It's not something, if you read closer at it, I looked at that, it's almost like do it at your own risk kind of a thing. They're still recommending the XFCE.
Terry says EB revised the review, gave it a 10 out of 10 after he fixed the drivers. Let me guess, it's always the graphics drivers, right?
Probably. Yeah, it was cool, especially the theming. The theming was nice for that type of style. Like I don't care for that type of style, but it was actually very good. It was very nice.
Yeah, I've tested it in the past. I didn't have any issues. I thought it was fine for beginners. That would be on my top 5 list for beginners or top 10 list.
People ask me, like I think somebody asked me in a comment today. It's like, would you going back, would you use Linux Lite or Mint? I'm like, Mint all the way, because I don't run low spec computers. I mean,
I don't either, but I would probably go Linux Lite because I don't know. I like XFCE better than Cinnamon.
Yeah, I guess I like Cinnamon better than XFCE.
If I had to go light, probably Peppermint.
That's what I do. In fact, I have Peppermint on my writing computer, and there is nothing about that I wouldn't change.
Yeah, when I was able to live stream with less than a gig of RAM on a Windows XP ThinkPad with Peppermint, I was impressed.
Yeah.
It wasn't zippy or nothing, but it was good enough. So Peppermint, I salute you, Peppermint.
I think for me though, it still would give me somewhat of a fair test, even though it's not native on the hardware. But if I load up an ISO and run it on this machine to see how the dual monitors, I'd be curious to see what that does, because Peppermint still gets a little finicky on it.
I don't do that with a lot. I mean, I have zero problems with Cinnamon on dual monitors. The only one I've run on dual monitors on XFCE is Cubes, and that works perfectly. In fact, surprisingly well.
Being the Studio's XFCE, and it's running great on here.
Yeah.
So.
Big Daddy Linux is in the house. Welcome.
Greetings, Big Daddy. Long time.
Rocco, if you want to join, shoot me an email. I was going to start the main topics, but if you want to join, please do. One of our good friends. Check out Biddle. I guess he calls it Biddle. He calls it Biddle. Big Daddy Linux every Saturday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Send me an email, Big Daddy, at totalOStoday1, the number 1, at gmail.com. Send me an email. I'll send you a link if you want to join. You're more than welcome to.
One brief thing about Linux Lite.
Hi, Ben.
I noticed that the Linux Lite guys are really trying to cater to the Windows crowd. The way they set up the desktop and everything, even the icons on the desktop. Did you notice, Tom? They named them Recycle Bin instead of trash.
I didn't catch that one, but I did catch the settings was control panel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I missed the recycle bin.
That almost sounds like an insult to the developers or to the people who would think that would be in it. But you know what? It makes sense. Make Windows users, not myself right now because I can try anything, but make newbies feel comfortable. Why would you not want to make a Linux guest, feel comfortable?
Yeah, and that's actually, I gave it a positive because of that.
Yeah,
I thought that was a very positive thing because, if we're trying to get people into the Linux world, we need to have a way to, a good way for them to be comfortable as we can be.
Yeah,
right.
You don't want to
totally agree.
You don't want to drop like Arch or Gentoo onto a newbie's computer, say a laptop or a desktop, and they'll be like, "Hell no, I'm not using this. Get it away from me."
Well, my favorite video, one of my was Derek when he says, "Will you please stop showing Arch to your family members
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like
Because
that?"
I mean, I run Arch, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I keep a USB stick of Ubuntu in my laptop bag because if family or friends want me to install Linux on their computer, they're having Windows problems, I'm going to put Ubuntu on that thing because they can never update it, and it's still going to run fine, and I won't get phone calls for support.
Yeah.
You know, the people that put things like Arch on a family member's computer, that's just crazy. So there's so much work involved to support that machine.
Yeah.
The one guy that they go to get help because they know you're going to help them. Like,
Ben, check your audio. It's a little low.
Mine?
Yeah.
It's a little low.
I can hear you, but it's low. Yeah.
But like I said, you know, if you put Arch on a family or friend's computer, they're going to be like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Because once you set them up, they're going to be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And they're not going to know what the heck they're doing. And
You run the real risk of actually running them back to Windows, putting something like that on their machine.
Yes, they'll be scared. They'll want you to wipe it and put Windows back on there for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It'll just be running back to Windows.
Let's see. Hang on here. All right, just checking.
They're not gonna want to keep it, and they're gonna be in a hand-holy situation off of you, and that's just gonna make it a very tedious process.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be fun for either person. So, what am I gonna do now?
Let me send a link to Big Daddy. He is setting up his system, but he might be able to join. Setting up the system. Did you distro hop again? Mamma mia.
Setting up his system for the 4th time today.
You know, between Big Daddy and like Derek, you should have your own special YouTube channel called The Unstable Guys or something, you know.
The Unstable Podcast.
Yeah, I love you guys to death, but I mean, I don't know what Big Daddy's doing, Rocco's doing, but all right, we'll see if he joins and we'll get started here. So,
This is weird, guys. It says, at least here in Windows, that my device, I went into settings for microphone, and it says that it's all the way up, but you're right, it is rather low, so I'm like, oh.
yeah, your audio, I mean, we can hear it, but the audio is low, so just let everybody who's listening, it's a little low. If you have a question for Ben, just put it in the chat if you would, please, okay? Yeah. All right, let's see here.
All the way, it is.
All right, Rocco, I think I sent you the link now. There was a delay. Okay, there we go. All right. We'll give it another minute, and then we'll go into a little bit of news. Then we'll go into the main topic for this evening. Last month, I believe, was 5 years of Patreon, the successful crowdsourcing platform.
Ben, is both the record setting, the record and the microphone both max? Because there's two in Windows.
Yeah, I'm looking at my Hangouts audio. It was set to default, but I only have one audio thing set for my microphone, which is the Realtek audio. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, there should be two. In Windows, there's two for microphone.
Did you click the automatic gain control? I think it's AGC. You click that to boost the mic. Yeah.
Yeah, let me automatic gain control. This is Windows 10. I have no idea where the heck that is.
Yeah, I know nothing about Windows. I can't help with that
it's
problem.
not that difficult to find. There's a few clicks, but it's not that hard. Yeah.
I have a Windows 7 computer here. Let's see if I can
log out and boot back into your Linux.
Yeah.
That's how you think. Oh, let me go back to the chat here.
I don't know.
Uh-oh. Keegan in Tennessee says he's hanging around in a silk nightgown. His wife thinks he's weird.
Silk night. Ooh.
You know what, Keegan? I think you're weird.
Unfortunately, this laptop doesn't have a Linux or whatever on it.
Yeah, there's Rocco.
Oh, Rocco, there you are.
Greetings, Rocco.
Gotta unmute yourself, buddy.
You need to unmute your audio.
Well, Ben, if you got a live USB key around, you could just load into that and install Chromium in that.
I might end up doing that, truth. You know, hell with it. I'm gonna install my Ubuntu and just come right back. I mean, my Manjaro. Whatever. I'll be back in a few minutes on Linux.
Okay. All right.
I'll bring it back.
Hi, Rocco.
I can hear you, but I can't talk.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you now. Yeah, you are loud and clear.
I gotta shut off Zoom here for some reason.
You are loud and clear. Yeah.
Nice.
Everybody, check out Big Daddy Linux every Saturday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the live show. If you would like to join there.
You know it.
Also, Destination Linux I lost track. When is Destination Linux now? I'm sorry. Fridays. That's.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We changed it, so it releases on Fridays.
Okay,
we record on Sunday.
Got it. That's what it is. And you guys do the live thing Sunday, then edit that for Friday, right?
Yep.
Is that okay? All right. See, I've remembered. I haven't lost my mind. Yeah, you know.
What distro is Big Daddy running today?
You don't want to know, do you?
Yeah.
Let me guess.
Inquiring.
Linux Lite.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So.
Which flavor of budgie are you running?
I'm not running budgie anymore.
He's running GNOME still. He's back on GNOMe.
Partially. See, Derek knows.
Pop OS, really?
Pop
Okay.
OS, yeah.
Oh,
What
Pop
are you running,
OS
Rocco?
was released, right?
Yep.
18?
Pop OS 1804.
Okay. Cool.
That's what I'm on right now.
Nice. See, a man who knows where it's at.
I tested Pop OS 1710. I kind of liked it. I thought it felt faster than the standard Ubuntu GNOME.
It's probably the most beautiful GNOME version out there.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right. Fair enough.
I think I recorded a video once, but I never actually released it. I got to do it again.
You should.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was.
I'll take a look at it again.
I don't like GNOME, but I like Pop. It was good.
It felt snappier for some reason.
I don't know. The most beautiful GNOME distro I think I've ever looked at was Corora, which just announced that they're going to kill that project. I guess that distro is
done.
I guess they lack the funds and the manpower. So
that's sad because I like to call that Fedora that works.
Yeah, it was a great Fedora distro.
The new Fedora though is working a whole lot better than it was.
Yeah.
We have Sneaky Linux in the house.
Everybody always tried to tell me to try Corora, and I never did. And then they stopped it.
Yeah.
All right, Sneaky says, I seem to be in the wrong country, old chaps. Is that a joke on us or on you, Sneaky? I'm not sure.
Sneaky, what are you doing up at this time? That's the question.
Yeah, he's like 6 hours ahead, yeah. Time for Ovaltine and BC's in bed. Okay, whatever BC's are.
What the hell are BCs?
BICCI. Sorry, Sneaky, we don't speak UK language.
we don't speak English. Sorry.
I speak New York. You see what I'm saying? But no,
that's good stuff.
Unless you watch enough EB, you eventually figure out what he means by Chabalonzo, because that's forever coming out of his mouth every 5 minutes lately.
How many times does he say "sweet as a nut"?
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, cookies.
Oh, biscuits. Okay.
Duh. Silly me. I should have known that. Okay.
Yeah.
Biscuits. Oh.
You know, I just realized we got me, Joey, and Rock. I should have called this instead of Thank TOS. It's Friday. Thank Italians. It's Friday.
Right?
I'm just, hey, what's the matter with you? You use a Windows? Are you crazy? No, I'm just kidding.
And I just looked up BC's, and there's actually a website, bcs.com, the edible gift.
Oh, my God.
Really? Pick up food.
Oh, boy.
All right. Let's get started here with, let's start off with a little bit of news, then we'll go into the main topic. 5 years of, last month was the 5-year anniversary of Patreon. So I'll just go to these news articles briefly. This is from theinquirer.net. Did you know that Sonic attacks, not Sonic the Hedgehog, but Sonic as in sound, audio, can bork hard disks and crash Windows and Linux? Ultrasonic and Sonic attacks can mess with hard drives and crash operating systems, presenting a new vector of cyber attacks that can cross over into the real world. For some reason, I have a vision of Austin Powers going Dr. Evil when his Sonic attacks or something, but no. Sonic and ultrasonic sounds can disrupt the read and write process of magnetic hard disk drives, so I guess this will not affect solid-state drives, I'm assuming.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So audible sonic sounds do this by causing the head stack and the hard disk drive's assembly to vibrate outside of its normal operating parameters, temporarily stopping it. I thought some of the ThinkPads had a built-in shock protection.
Toshiba did.
Is that I think it was okay?
I don't think it's shock though. The way I understand it is resonance.
It's resonance. I used to work for a company that designed. I used to work for a company that designed the channel and the read-write chips for hard drives, and there's significant testing done on making sure that if you put your computer on a desk, specifically with a laptop, there were issues with plugging speakers in to a laptop and having the speakers sitting on the same desk as the laptop and playing sounds through more powerful speakers than what the laptop was designed to play.
Well, it's funny you say that because it says here in one example, the researchers found that it took as little as 45 seconds to force a Dell XPS 159550 to become unresponsive after it played audio over its built-in speakers.
Yep.
So the built-in speakers can damage the hard drive. Way to go, Dell. Now, I don't know if that's just like a not isolated issue, but I have separate speakers here away from my computer. But well, there you go. I guess don't play loud music when you turn on your computer, and don't go to Taco Bell and turn your computer when you're done eating either. But no, that's a different joke altogether.
And I said the sonic waves wouldn't affect solid state drives. I'm not positive on that. I know EMPs, electromagnetic pulse.
Yes.
Ruin spinning disks, but solid state drives are okay on that. So
no kidding.
Yep.
Okay.
When a nuclear war, if you're running SSD, you're good. You guys running spinning disks.
Okay.
You know.
So when humanity gets toasted, but hey, I got my SSD.
Great. My disk drive's going to survive, and the only thing sitting in front of it is a pile of rubble and ashes.
Yeah. You know, I remember years ago, my son was playing one of the Call of Duty movies, and there was an attack on Washington. And there was an EMP hit. So I'm watching him play. Hey, Daddy, look, there's an EMP in the sky. I'm like, okay. So he's walking towards the wire. All of a sudden, helicopters are dropping left. I said, whoa. I'm like, well, duh, it was an EMP. Anyway. All right. This is from Variety.com. YouTube is the #1 platform among U.S. teens. And I guess Facebook has taken a dive. It says here, Google's YouTube takes the crown as the most widely used internet platform by American teens today, while Facebook's popularity has slumped dramatically in the last 3 years. I mean,
there's too many parents and grandparents on Facebook. They don't want to be
alone. Okay. All right. I guess that would make sense. Let me see what else.
Trading one master for another. So,
yep.
It says here, Snapchat is the most used platform for U.S. teens. Okay, I don't use Snapchat. Let's see what we have here. So YouTube is popular, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook is #4, then Twitter, Tumblr, Reddit, and there's like the bottom one, none of the above. What's left? Diaspora. Hey, okay. Let's see what else we have here. A little bit of a different technology story. This is also from Variety. Solo, a Star Wars story, or Solo, yeah, that's what it's called, Star Wars story. I guess Solo has gone solo. It bombed. I guess it's a dud. It did 100 million last weekend, and now it's doing 28 million. It's saying here that the Fizz has gone out of the Force, heading for a disappointment, 28 million. I think you can only milk a cow so much before the cow says forget about having more milk to give you. But
the real reason is it starred a white male.
Okay.
Now, there was actually people from that view started. Yeah, they literally came out and said, "Oh, it's because movies with white male roles are not as liked and aren't as moviegoer." I think you're right, though. Frankly, I don't want to go because of how much Disney killed Star Wars.
Well, I liked the other story. What was it? Rogue One. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That was like an off. That was okay because it was a little different. The Force Awakens put me to sleep because I predicted the script and I felt so ripped off. I'm watching this. I'm like, don't you dare kill Han. Don't you kill Han. You killed Han. So I'm going, But yeah, The Last Jedi was okay. I enjoyed the ending, but it's a hit and miss with the new Star Wars movies. But I guess they're gonna do more with spin-offs with Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, they need to put some time in between these movies. They're coming out too fast. You know,
yeah.
But
wait a couple years before you.
Yeah.
There's enough fans out there. It's just that you're right. They're not putting the time in. They're not putting the effort into the actual story.
Right.
I don't think the time is necessary if you're going to have a good story, but you need to have that time to make a good story. So,
who's writing the screenplays for these things nowadays? Because wasn't George Lucas writing them at one point?
Not for the new ones. He sold the company. Didn't he sell the Star Wars franchise to? Okay.
The last one I saw was what do you call it? The last installment of the prequel. So episode 3, I guess, is the last one I saw.
Okay.
I haven't seen any of the new ones.
Yeah, like I said, it's hit and miss. Now that this one they say is a dud, I may not go see it. I'm probably going to go watch the next Mission Impossible film because all of them are good in my opinion. I really enjoy watching those. And I think Tom Cruise does most of his stunts. He broke his ankle last year. Was it this year, filming Mission Impossible? He was jumping off a roof. They had a harness, which they CGI out, but he landed on the roof like really nasty, and it showed someone was filming off camera and off shoot with the looking up at him jumping. He broke his ankle. I guess he's okay, but I've always enjoyed the Mission Impossible movies. They're thoroughly enjoyable to watch. So that's an example of spin-offs or sequels done correctly. But they don't make them back to back. They wait years. If the first one came out in 2000, I think, so they hire the proper writers, they flesh out the story, then they do the movie. And that it's almost like a James Bond flick. It could take 2 to 3 years per movie, per filming of the movie for it to come out. So,
hey Toss, anyway. I'm gonna have to jump off. I need to get some rest. So it was nice seeing you. Yeah. All of you guys, take care of yourself.
See you, man. We'll see you get some rest, man.
I'll
try to jump on over the weekend as I see you guys come on.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay, Tim.
Take care, guys.
All right. Excellent. All right. Let's go into the main topic. Last month marked already 5 years of something that is called Patreon that a lot of YouTubers use, and I guess I'm assuming not just video creators, artists, and what have you. It's been 5 years. For those of you that don't know it, Patreon is basically crowdsourcing funding or crowdsourced funding. It is a way for content consumers to reward or pay content creators for their content, time, knowledge, and more. Patreon was founded in May 2013 by a former, I guess current YouTuber, Jack Conte. In 2017, Patreon announced that it paid millions, I forget how many hundreds of millions, to looks like 150,000 creators. That's a lot. In 2017, they banned a conservative YouTube personality named Lauren Southern. I don't know. I don't know what she did. So there was some political controversy last year. It didn't really affect me that much. The reason why I jumped off, and then they later changed their mind, but back in December last year, they had announced a service fee starting in December 18th of 2017, where some fees would be charged to the patrons rather than all fees being paid by the creator. This caused backlash from some creators like myself, including some creators who saw members of their fan base withdraw small pledges in response. Under the new payment model, a $1 pledge would have cost you $1.38. Due to the backlash, they announced they would not be rolling out those changes, so they apologized. I actually got an email a week after I deleted my account. In fact, they said, "TOS, please come back. Don't call Sicily. Uncle Guido was a fan of it." Just kidding, but I never went back, and maybe I jumped the gun by deleting it so soon, but I didn't know this was I thought they were really going to do it, and I didn't like what I saw, and I deleted the account. Now maybe I will go back. I don't know. I think the way it was and the way they are keeping it is fine. I don't have a problem with it. It's just a matter of going back and set up the account and doing this and doing that. This is how I see Patreon. To me, it's almost like a virtual mall. for the sale of goods and services. You know, services such as information. The goods, I guess you can sell coffee cups, T-shirts, but you can do that with what, Teespring and Tom, you have Spreadshirt.
I use
right?
Spreadshirt. Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, obviously Patreon is not the only option out there. There's LibrePay, DonorBox. There's another one, I think it's open source. Maybe I'm thinking of LibrePay. But I think Patreon is going to be fine. If they don't try to pull a dumb stunt like they did last year by not being upfront with the way people are being charged. I think the way it is now, the way it was, is fine. But there is competition. Now, YouTube has its own thing going on. It's in beta. And I've been waiting for that one. That's probably the main reason I haven't gone back to Patreon. But they have a small number of channels. I guess the bigger ones will have a sponsorship tab or a button on the app and on the main site of certain channels. And basically, just like Patreon, you can click that and you can make monthly payments for whatever it is to sponsor that YouTube's channel, as you would say on the Patreon site. And I guess you'll be able to purchase badges, emoji, and access to the perks offered by the channel from those channels whenever that person has something to offer. I think that would be probably something more convenient for YouTubers, because you're watching, say, a live stream and the channel, that tab is right there. I guess it's something similar to almost Super Chat, where you can click it and then donate if you want to. But if there is a major competitor to Patreon, it'll probably be YouTube. I don't know when they're going to roll this out to all the channels or if they plan to. But if they can do it right, if YouTube can do it right and not botch it, not mess it up like they did with AdSense, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. How do you guys feel about Patreon versus YouTube and this whole thing going on?
I don't like putting all my eggs in the YouTube basket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you, but if they offered it, I would add it as an alternative means. And the reason is, I may not personally want to use something like that or something like Patreon necessarily, but if there were another option that I would be comfortable with, like I've supported people directly via a direct PayPal link, which is what I'm most comfortable with. But I'm not going to leave it on the table either, because there's people that don't want to have any other accounts. They're like, okay, I'm going to keep everything in Google and that's it. I'm not going to go outside of Google. Well, if I have it set up through there, thank you. And like I said, the system I'm developing, anybody will be able to get access to that by letting me know that they've supported in some other means. So I'm just working on all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It would definitely be an add-on to Patreon, because I don't think Google would put out, to be honest with you, I don't think Google would put out a good product that would compete with Patreon as far as sponsorship and rewards and all that stuff. So it would definitely be something that you would add so that anyway, somebody, if they wanted to donate, could donate. But I don't think they're going to take the place of Patreon right now.
But the super chats, that's pretty much Google Pay anyway, isn't it? If I'm correct.
Essentially.
Yeah.
It drops into your AdSense is what it does.
Right. Yeah. It's there as an option. I don't know if I can even shut that off if I wanted to. And some people have used it. I don't think it's meant to replace anything. But somebody mentioned not putting all your eggs in one basket. I totally agree with that. When I started this channel back in 2010 as a hobby, the channel really didn't become self-sufficient until about 2012, 2013. The channel was paying for itself, and I didn't have a lot of subscribers back then. It was just viewership. I think I had at the time, I think it was between 2,000 and 3,000 subs, and the channel was paying for itself, and I was happy. I'm like, cool. And then things started to change about 2015, 2016. That's when I realized, man, I put all my eggs in one basket, which was AdSense. That was not a smart way to. Of course, look, when you're starting off years ago, like that's not in your mind really. It's like, okay, I'll share some information, make some friends, maybe make some money on the side, The channels that have survived and thrived, AdSense is the last thing on their list in terms of revenue stream, whether it's Amazon, sponsorships, books, speeches, and all that stuff. I think that was probably still is a smart way to do it. Stephen asks, for me, is there another way to give to your channel other than PayPal? Right now, no. If you plan on shopping on Amazon, that's one way to help out. It's not a direct pledge of support or a direct donation. But right now, I only have PayPal because I use PayPal. I trust it. I believe it's worldwide or close to it. I believe is it somewhat anonymous? Or is it not anonymous?
No, it's not anonymous.
No,
PayPal is not.
You get a full printout address and stuff, and somebody sends you that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't post that or anything.
Or, I mean, you can create an invoice with PayPal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I use for collecting credit card payments on my business. You know, if someone wants to pay with a credit or debit card, I use PayPal. That's what I do.
So it's reliable. That's the impression that I'm getting.
Yeah,
okay.
I like it.
Okay. Yeah. And I use it.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. So
right.
I'm looking at other means as well because there's some horror stories with PayPal out there.
Really?
As well.
Okay.
There's horror stories with everything.
Yeah,
True.
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Stephen, that's the right now. I only have some people have suggested also have the Patreon thing going on. I may, but right now, Stephen, it's PayPal directly, or if you use, I have some shirts on I think, Rocco, you have Teespring also.
I have Teespring, yeah.
Okay. That's another way. But directly pledge support, I only have PayPal. But I may go back to Patreon or maybe try LibrePay. I don't know.
Tom,
Tom,
what did you say that would you use for the shirts?
Mine is Spreadshirt.
And is that better than Teespring?
The reason I ultimately went with Spreadshirt is I didn't care for the politics that I saw in some of Teespring. And those two seem to have they seem to have similar ratings. Obviously, there's going to be issues everywhere with some small amounts of issues everywhere. But as far as Spreadshirt, when I place an order, I get the order to me in less than a week. Now they are one of the printing and fulfillment centers is in my state. That's probably part of it.
Okay.
But yeah, I use that. The other reason is I can set up multiple stores, and because I have multiple channels. I can actually go in there and create separate products and list them in separate stores, and they all can have their own separate identities.
I have a question on that too, Tom, because I looked at your page with that, and there's actually a feature in there where you can go in and actually edit your design as a consumer. Did you know that? Is that? I mean, that doesn't. I didn't know if that was a concern.
As a consumer,
yeah, I could go in there and actually add text or change and do things to if I wanted to.
Have fun. My commission is the same no matter what you do. So, and it's an added bonus. Because I had somebody had actually gone in there because what I had in there they didn't offer in his size, and he found a shirt in there that was his size, and he was actually able to build the shirt that he wanted because he won a coupon code from me. And so I passed that out to him, and he ended up being pretty good. So,
somebody mentioned Steam. I do not use Steam. Does Twitch pay also like Patreon or like AdSense? Do they have any?
Weird. My brother streams on Twitch for like 3 or 4 hours every day when his daughter is asleep, and so. Now he does graphic design stuff. If you want to see really cool graphic design stuff, his stream is, I think he's streaming it. It's either Mavis Games or Red Falcon Run. I think it's Mavis Games during the afternoon. And over there they have a series of like follower bits. I forget the terminology, but you kind of get paid as people follow you, but you kind of have to quote unquote pay to follow people. So you don't get these massive, followers, and the subscription is free. But then as you get a certain amount, it's very similar in some ways, and it's very different in others.
Boy, there are so many options out there. You know, I remember when my channel started growing, I had gotten so many invitations. Join these multi-channel networks. Join this, join that. We love what you're doing. I'm like, I'm not that big of a channel. Why? I mean, I was flattered, but I had literally lost track of many invitations. And then I started hearing good things, bad things about these multi-channel. There's, I don't want to single out any company, but Full Screen comes to mind. I guess they're reputable, but, you know, I guess it's one of those things where I follow my own advice. If I'm not sure about something, like if I'm not sure if I should post or say something, then the answer is no. Have you guys looked into multi-channel networks? Or
not at all.
Have you gotten invitations? Okay, all right.
I've talked to a few of them. They're not good. You have to sign over your AdSense account to them.
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's problems. In fact, there was another case that came out. I think I covered it at one point in time where YouTube had forced some multi-channel networks to kick some people off of their system, and these were people with millions of subs.
Yeah, I saw some of that. Yeah,
wow.
The thing about that is when you give up your AdSense account, when you leave the multi-channel network, you have to reapply for AdSense. And so it was kind of a way to prevent the YouTubers from actually doing that. So yeah, multi-channel networks, and I don't see any benefit. I mean, they're like, we give you these tools and audio archives. I'm like, are you going to give me somebody to help produce videos? No. Well, then what am I paying you for?
So the way to join the MSN is to say, fine, I will join you as a partner. You send me first $100,000 I get to keep, and then we...
and then you just carry on.
I think it's fair, right, Rocco? Yeah.
Totally fair.
Yeah. You know...
It's basically you keep doing 100% of the work you've already been doing.
Okay.
We would like a cut of that money.
Yep.
So that's all that is.
I suppose if you had 10 million subscribers, you need a little help. Maybe then it would pay? I mean, I don't know. I don't know too much about it. But that's the only thing I can see where, like a PewDiePie or somebody who just, you know, just grows exponentially, he can't do it all himself. But he's already made his millions anyway. So, but that's my thinking on how that works. But thank God I follow my own advice. Don't do it, Carm. Don't go there. Just keep doing what you're doing. And anyway, but that's another option, I suppose.
Yeah, don't ask.
Okay. All right.
Let's back to Ubuntu.
Yeah. Jeez.
He hopped, and in the 30 seconds.
In that 30 seconds, I installed something else.
Oh my God. Speaking of Ubuntu, I have Ubuntu, standard Ubuntu Noma, my Toshiba. You know what? I'm liking it because it's so freaking stable. I just wish it was faster. You know, it really takes at least 4 gigs to get it, you know, moving and multiple windows open. Just wish it was more efficient. But I'm sticking with Ubuntu now. There's a couple, I wanted to look at a couple examples here on Patreon. Let me see if I can screen share. If it crashes, let me know. Again, I'm not ignoring everybody in the chat. I'll get back in as soon as I can. Okay, you guys can see this, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I've always liked listening to Brian Lunduke. His Linux Sucks series over the years have been very entertaining and informative. So this is what he's done. He decided to, you know, go, I guess, paywall is what they call this, and that's fine. He did what he had to do. But this is an example of his memberships. Nicely done. You can see here, starting with $2 a month, kind of clever. 8-bit helper, 16-bit big helper, little helper, big helper, producer for 15. I guess he has some shirts. You know, and it goes up to 64-bit executive producer and so on. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think with the Patreon account, you don't have to set up rewards, do you?
No.
Okay. All right. So you have a choice. All right. Let's real quick overview. So for him, it's been successful. He has almost 1,000 people following him, almost 4,000 a month. I guess he's got a goal of 4,500. Let's see what he's trying to do. Hitting this amount allows us to fund our own studio, a real studio with seating with a live, wow. With a live studio audience, really?
Yeah, that's something he's been planning for a month or two.
How awesome is that? I think it's awesome, but Brian, you're gonna do that for 40? That's not a lot of money, man, for a full-blown studio, in my opinion.
Yeah, you can pull it off, though. It's not.
Wow.
It wouldn't be super expensive, provided you got the right connections, and he does.
Well, he's probably has sponsorship supplemental income, but yeah, I mean, Christ, I know what my.
I'll note something. If you go back up, you can see that he's at $4,000. A month.
Yeah.
Okay, this is why I defended. If you watch my video, it was kind of funny to read the comments in my video that I did because you really read into it and you were able to see a lot of people's prejudices. This was a good thing for Brian. And the reason is when he did that, like 2-3 weeks ago, he only had $2,000 a month in patron supporters.
Okay.
He has lost about 1,000 subs. His view count is a little static, maybe a little bit lower, and his Patreon income doubled. That's what I call a good business decision.
Yeah, he realized that he was and there were some people who just couldn't afford it or didn't like it, and that's understandable. And he acknowledged that. He wasn't being purposely mean or anything. He just did what he had to do because AdSense isn't cutting it, and he had to move on.
And I completely defend. This view. I mean, it's a great thing.
So this
is his content. He can do whatever it wants with it.
Yes, right.
That's right.
The bottom line. That kind of drives at the heart of what some of the content I've seen. I don't know if TOS or DistroTube have seen this or not, and maybe you have, or actually Big Daddy too. I'm pretty clear that I do this because I see the writing on the wall of my current career, and it's not going to be around much longer. And this is what I'm looking to do as an income going forward. And you get a lot of comments like, it's just a free hobby thing, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, it's a viable way of making money in this day and age. It's called content production, and people have been paying for it for centuries.
But Tom, that goes back to when people look at self-employed people too, and they say, well, if you had a real job, you'd be doing this and doing that. Well, you know what? I know what they mean. When they say real job, they're talking about a 9-to-5 or whatever kind of a job where you punch in a clock. But the truth of the matter is when you're self-employed, your job is much harder usually. Well, not usually. It always is actually because you don't know where your next meal is coming from.
I have been entirely self-employed for, I think, 8 or 9 years now. 100%. Zero income from some other place. Everything has been my own thing. And I mean, I know what that means.
I was 24 years as a contractor, so I had a lot of
I'm working on somebody's project right now.
Yeah, but I think if you're going to make it a career, like you're talking about, Tom, you're going to have to do what you had said earlier, and what Derek had said is not put your eggs all in one basket. You have to be versatile in all platforms, because just doing it on YouTube is not going to work.
Because Google could decide tomorrow that YouTube is not profitable for them, which it isn't.
No,
they could just kill it. And now what do you do?
Well, that's very true, because even comparing the analogy to what I did, I started out as a remodeling contractor. I went into a specialty field of doing stuff for people with disabilities and accessibility issues. Then I started a medical equipment and supply supplement business on top of that, where not only I didn't have a brick and mortar, I had an online, and then I did design services and I did consulting also. So it did one, like if I had a slow winter, if I didn't have work lined up through the winter, which in later years I did as I got pretty well established, but if there was ever slow winters, a lot of times the stuff that I had coming in from my internet sales or whatever for my equipment would carry me through, or I went and bought a property to renovate. So it's like you said, and even there was a point where it got more difficult to be running around and spending my time to do estimates on projects I was bidding against other people. So I decided to start building some new homes, because now I'm creating my own work. There's a risk there no matter what it is. There's a risk in everything. And fortunately, I was able to do okay. And my last house I built was right just before we had the first recession before this last one, back in, what was it, 04 or 05. when it was starting, because it was, everybody said it was '07, but it actually started in '05 when gas prices went through the roof. So, and I still walked out with some money on it in the black, but there were a lot of guys that walked out in the red with that, you know. So, and it's, even though it's two different fields, it's kind of the same principle, that because I kept things diversified with how I brought money streams in, you know, I was able to survive through some of the tougher times. And that's the biggest thing I think that's most scary about this electronic world, is because if we have an electronic outage, I don't think it matters what you do for a living then at that point, because you're not going to be able to bank, you're not going to be able to buy groceries at the store. I mean,
it won't matter.
It can ring you out of a register without it.
So. We are ultimately, probably in the end, we are in the entertainment business. Okay, YouTube. Now I know, you know, some YouTubers actually give information how to fix your lawnmower, or, you know, for us it's tutorial on how to install Linux, how to fix this, how to install RAM, and that's informational also, and that's great. But ultimately we are in the entertainment business, all of us, whether we like it or not. Because I look at it this way: if all you do is only solely strict information, meaning being bland and step one, step two, and that's it, I'm not sure how far a channel like that can go. That's why we need to mix in humor, jokes, this, that, and the other thing to make a channel more all-encompassing, as it were, to any kind of like audience. When I was in college back in the 90s, I took film studies, a few classes, and I remember the teacher said that the best kinds of films are didactic. He explained it. Basically, didactic means entertaining and informative. A good example would be, I love The Godfather. It's entertaining, but it's informative on a piece of history. A Few Good Men, entertaining and informative, and there are many other movies back there. But I think the most successful channels tend to be, now, unless the channel was pure comedy, pure dopey and stupid, then it doesn't matter. But I think channels that are both entertaining and informative probably are the most successful, if I had to guess. I don't know. But I think now is the best time for content consumers, everybody on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. It's not the best of time for content creators. Months ago, there was a channel that I watch. I won't mention the name, but he was closing in on 1 million subscribers, and this person practically had to beg for help through Patreon because he couldn't make it. That was an eye-opener. Like, oh my God, he's got 1 million subs. So it's pretty obvious that subs doesn't mean everything. It's important. But if the AdSense revenue isn't there, then what's the point? There is no foundation. It's kind of like building a house and the foundation's weak. You can have the most beautiful house. Same thing with the YouTube channel. You can have the most, professional, nice YouTube channel. But if the financial foundation isn't there, eventually it will crumble. But I think what's happening is, I think content consumers now are starting to realize that there is a lot of time and effort put into these videos, tutorials. Someone had a comment, and the person was right. He said, you're not doing really enough Linuxy stuff anymore, and you have a big ego or something. Well, I don't think I have a big ego. I hope not. But he was right about the Linuxy stuff. I don't do the full-blown installation / tutorials anymore. Well, because AdSense revenue just ain't there anymore. And after 2,000 videos, I got burned out. I just did. And running a channel with outdated equipment also doesn't help. I'm running this on my dual core. I'm going to give the higher computer, the quad core, to my boy when he starts college in the fall, if he wants it. But all those combination of factors, like I don't want to sit here and do a 30-40 minute review of something, a full review, and then spend an hour or hours editing it.
Right.
That's where the time when Bronco's like, man, I hear you, TOS, you know. And then, you know, years ago, a couple years ago.
Well, you do a lot of live streams. You know, I do my stuff pre-recorded and, yeah, editing videos.
I've been doing more live because I'm not going to edit this. This is a family show. Right? Yeah.
We do Destination Linux on Sunday, and we record that. And like last week, we recorded, it was 2 hours and 10 minutes. Or it was actually like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It took, when I got home from work Monday, the rest of the night, and the following Tuesday, to edit everything on that episode, upload it, change the audio, do everything I need to do to put out that episode. So it was almost 2 days worth of work just to get that edited and up.
It's you know, when I started this as a hobby, I really didn't care. I wanted to do it. I was so curious about, and most New Yorkers, I guess, are naturally curious. What's this freaking thing called Linux or whatever, you know? But I wanted to learn. This is back in 06. You know, there was something new called Ubuntu back then, and it was new for everybody probably. And I stuck with it. It was it's all self-taught for me. In 2010, I started the channel more. I told myself, instead of complaining that there wasn't enough good YouTube stuff on Linux, now it's all changed. There's plenty of good stuff. So you consumers out there, you have it made. I didn't complain. I started the channel, did this, did that. A year later, my first podcast with IG. I think he's back, sort of. And that's when the channel grew. And then the AdSense revenue grew. I was really surprised because they didn't have a lot of subscribers, like 2,000 subs, and the channel was self-sufficient. I'm like, well, this is pretty easy. Well, it's not. Rocco knows what I mean. When things are going swell, groovy, as in Austin Powers, but when things don't. Anyway, when things started going downhill in terms of AdSense revenue, I did the math. I took all the hours and divided like to what I get paid. It came to like $1.67 an hour. And now I sound like EB. Really? Really?
Oh yeah.
Really? I'm like, hence.
And if you figure up what you've spent producing, you know, your content, we're all in the hole. One of the commenters was asking, Woodbeast was asking, do we honestly need the money YouTube pays us? Yeah, kind of. I've spent over $1,000 on equipment just to, you know, and I've only been doing my channel like 7 months. So I'm deep in the hole already.
There's if you do the expense reports on just Destination Linux itself, we're not making hardly anything.
When my computer blew up, it cost me $800 to repair it.
Right. You know, when the AdSense revenue jumped, well, I use the term relatively jumped. The AdSense revenue was paying for my Comcast bill, which is about a couple thousand a year, give or take. And I thought, well, that's okay. But then what it didn't pay for that, let alone the equipment and my time, I'm like, why am I doing this?
No.
Let's be honest. Why the bleep? Because people say, TOS, no, keep doing what you're doing. We love your content. Your content. You treat us with respect. We feel friendly here. Please don't. Okay. But, well, we know the flip side of it. I really didn't think I would be here. I guess I didn't have faith in myself. Stupid me. I don't know. But how do you really know, starting off a channel, where it's going to go? Honestly, how do you really know?
But don't you think, to some extent, this now becomes a part of your way of life, that you kind of enjoy it? It might only be a segment of your life. It might continue on. I don't know. But look at how many of us have gotten to know each other and become friends. There's other things that come out of this too, besides just an income for the creators. But you know, to me, I'd like to think it started out with an enjoyment and a passion, and if it turned into more, which is what it's looking like for a lot of people, and you always wish them well. I mean, for me, it gets me through my days. A lot of times, I don't have a channel, right? You know, and I purposely
I would agree with you halfway, Joe. And I just want to state that in any of the comments I just made, I am not complaining at all about the money or the lack of money, because we all do it because we do it.
Right.
It's our choice to do it. So there's no complaining here.
Right.
But as far as doing it, and you know, it's not that you don't enjoy it, but at some point, like TOS said, there is so much work involved. Okay, for example, with Destination Linux, there's so much work involved in that.
Right.
Getting articles ready,
right. Yes,
scheduling interviews. Like, there's so much behind the scenes work that there at some point there may be a time where you just don't feel like doing all of that. Now,
the point I always tell people is I don't want to get rich, but I don't want to go broke either doing this.
Right.
So.
Right.
Well,
right.
Biddle is,
right.
I guess, the other side where you said, Joe, where you enjoy it and you meet people, and because all I do is I put it up live, everybody joins, and we have a great conversation and talk. Right. That's awesome.
Right.
So that side of it is, yeah, we do it. I do it for fun. I do it because the people you meet. Destination Linux is a little bit more detailed, a lot more work. So I still do it because I enjoy it, but at some point it does get to the point where it is so much work that sometimes you don't feel like doing it every week. But.
Well, I get that when your hobby starts to become a job and it becomes less enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yes. Then you get to the point where it's called burnout. Everybody gets burned out on it, and I've been down that road with other things in my life too. So I get that.
Well, if I didn't have the other three guys, if I didn't have Ryan, Michael, and Zeb, I probably wouldn't be doing it because that it is so much work, and they put in a ton of work. Ryan comes on and he gets all of the news articles and puts them in document, and Michael does a lot of the social media stuff. So does Zeb. They all help out, and if it wasn't for all of that, I probably wouldn't do it anymore. Just because it is so much work.
That's also what I think makes it so professional looking and so excellent in what you guys do put out every week. I mean, I think you guys do a phenomenal job, and the humor side of it too, like the outtakes and all that.
Yeah.
It's just so well done. And it would really be a shame that if it got to the point where it got to be more work than you guys care to do. But, the reality of it is it would be what it is, So,
we're not a really popular podcast in the Linux world because we're not as technical as some of the Linux podcasts out there. All right. We're not going to dive deep into the kernel and tell you exactly how it works. But we try to offer information. We try to do exactly what TOS was talking about a few minutes ago, which is provide information and provide humor at the same time. So it's not so technical, and yet it does give you information.
It's one of those things where you're right, we are to a point that isn't just entertainment, and that's fine. You want to share a laugh, maybe someone had a bad week, whatever, wreck this car or whatever. Don't wreck your car. And just needed a place to chill out, and it's people that you trust. I trust everybody here, but this is almost like a sanctuary. When you go to Destination Linux, you jump on, but it isn't knowing that you can say something if it's family friendly and get a response. It is sanctuary channels in a way. And this channel, I think over the years became a sanctuary for beginners, newbies to Linux who went to forums who weren't treated with respect. In the beginning, I didn't know what was going on, but when I started doing videos trying to compare Linux and Windows, I would get hammered with nasty comments. You have no idea what you're talking about. When they were directed at me, I go, forget about it, you can't hit me. But when they attack my subscribers, I say, whoa. That's where I draw the line. It is, we're not big names, So that's why these channels maybe not are quite as popular as a PewDiePie, or who was the other guy that got banned that came back? He did that thing in the forest. I can think of his name now.
Right.
Logan Paul, right?
I think all of us could talk about horror stories of comments that we've had.
Yes.
I don't care how big or small of a channel you got. You're going to get those. It's just the way it is. And some of them are like worse than you would ever imagine they would be.
Yeah, I've had some real nut jobs contact me. There's real crazy people on YouTube.
The problem is when you put yourself out in the public eye. Unfortunately, that's what comes with it too.
Yep.
As far as the growth of your channels, I mean, I look at from when I started following a lot of you guys, to where it is now, and you could see the progression and the changes. And you're right, if somebody wants to know how to put a distro together or to install something, there's tons of them out there. They can look at old videos of yours. Now, granted, if something starts changing in that world of, maybe the technology changes, maybe how it could be done changes, whatever, like now you've got snaps, you got flat packs, you got all these different things coming about. That's a different animal. So, and yes, everybody puts them out and you kind of pick and choose who you want to listen to a little bit more, maybe one over the other, but that's also the beauty of it. But I think what sets all of your channels, me as basically another viewer, even though I'm sitting here on here as a guest for you, is each one of you offers something unique, in my opinion. How you do it, your personalities, that kind of thing. And, when you're sitting, like you do sometimes you just do your live thing to talk about whatever, Carmine, and I'll be sitting here during the day and I'll be working on my e-commerce store, and I'll turn it on and I'll listen. And the nice thing is if I've missed the actual live thing, you can sit there and pause it, walk out, and you don't miss a beat. And if you want to refresh yourself, you back it up a little bit, start it. I mean, so there's a lot of things I think you guys got to give yourselves credit for that way too. It's just, and I do say this wholeheartedly, I think it's unfortunate that the burnout comes eventually with all of these sometimes, but it's also part of evolution. You evolve into new and different things as whatever suits your life at the time, I guess.
Well, I mean, over 2,000 videos, and just hammering them out and trying to learn. And part of it, I mean, it was my choice. I wanted to learn as much about Linux as I can, so I wouldn't give someone the wrong or false information, not on purpose. But, after 2,000 videos, I'm like, I haven't taken a vacation in 5 years. I'm either doing with my boy or doing this or what. I'm like, But I think little by little, I think that people are starting to realize, I don't think I know, that's why Patreon is so successful, that the content creators, they do perform a service to the public, whether it's a form of therapy that, like Joe and I talked about, or information, problem solving, or just simply showing a respect to different points of views, that it is a service to the public. And the reality is they can't keep doing this for free, as it were. It's just not reality, Now for the occasional YouTuber uploads once in a blue moon, once a month or whatever, I think they get that. But for consistent content creators and whatever that, or for consistent singers or cooks or whatever on YouTube, I think the reason why Patreon has thrived is it has opened up another world, another avenue for consumers to look at that and say, you know what, that's worth something to me. Let me chip in whatever it is, a few dollars a month or $100 a month or whatever it is. And that's why, we talked about Brian Lundvik. I think that's why he's thrived. He's thriving because people realize he has been doing it a long time, and his sessions, his videos are both, they are didactic, they're enlightening and informative. See, Brian has hit that formula of enlightenment and informative, that recipe for success. He's nailed it, or at least it looks like, in spite of the hateful comments. And that's a hard thing to blend in, to hit that science, as it were. But I don't know how far Patreon can go. I don't know if YouTube sponsorship is going to be anything a formidable opponent to Patreon. I think we had talked about, in terms of an alternative platform to YouTube, I think Amazon has the resources to pull it off. Maybe not immediately, because we've all complained, it's only YouTube right now because people watch it. How many millions of hours a day are being uploaded, watched? It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, but I don't think there will be. I honestly don't think there will be a competitor to YouTube, because, like we were talking about, Derek had mentioned, it's not profitable. So you need this ridiculous amount of servers and
server space.
Yeah. And also, and there people have tried it, but you have to have endless pockets,
right?
And nobody with any sense is going to really try to jump into that, knowing that you're going to lose money in the end.
Not just hosting pre-recorded videos. Think about the servers required to stream. How much somebody would have to sink billions into something to compete with YouTube
for no profit.
For no profit, yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to ever see a YouTube competitor.
You know, I never thought that may be true, but I got to tell you, I never thought there would be a competitor to Kmart, and we all know where that went with Walmart. I never thought Sears would be in trouble. There's a lot. I never thought I would see a gadget where I could talk to you on a phone and see you, and that came to life 10 years ago with the iPhone. You know, I never thought we could do this at home for relatively, well, not cheap because it can be expensive, but relatively cheap as opposed to what Google has with YouTube. Think of all the, you know, for lack of a better term, think of all the magic that we do with what we're doing. And 10 years ago, I would have said, you're freaking nuts. You know, so there's always something, there's always a better idea or a better company waiting to happen. Now, maybe not in the near future. I don't know. You know, when Patreon first came out in 2013, I was like, okay, it didn't really hit me one way or the other. And look how far it's grown. You know, people,
well, I would agree with you if it was profitable. Then I would agree that somebody is going to take that on, and somebody will eventually do that. But say, like you mentioned, Amazon.
Yeah.
I don't think Amazon is going to try to compete in the same way with YouTube as in that same realm. They may do like a similar type thing, like an offshoot of something, but it's not going to directly compete with YouTube because I mean, you can see that you're not going to make any money. You're going to lose money. It doesn't make any sense to try to compete.
What they might do is bring it as a value. What I'm thinking is a value add-on service, possibly, in the sense that it's like these what we call lost leaders in the online world of selling on eBay or whatever, where you sell products that either your cost or are lost to get people into your store to buy other things. And they may do something like that actually enhances in one sense, so they get people in to possibly buy other things while they're there or whatever. I mean,
I hope I'm wrong, Joe. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. I hope there does come along somebody. I just don't think that there will be.
Yeah.
Well, who owns all...
Specifically, if they go down that route. Sorry.
How are you, Rocco?
Hey,
awesome. Who owns all the servers now? Is it Google? Is it that they're the ones? Google owns all the servers. So how did they build up that much? Advertising, was it?
Yeah, AdSense. I mean, that's how they made their billions, was serving up ads on the web. That's their main number one business. So.
And that's actually why Google is still the number one position, is because they already have a very good ad system established.
But the other thing you got to look at too is it's not just a loss for them, but the competitor that would have to come in would have to build the audience that YouTube has.
Right.
You know, like you want to find something, you want to know something, you go to YouTube. As far as pretty much anything. So you would have to pull people away from YouTube, and that I don't mean.
But sometimes having a company or part or an entity of your company that's losing money is intentional, because you got to offset all those billions you're making.
Well, maybe
they wouldn't just shut it down though. They would probably try to find a buyer, and Facebook would buy them. So
yeah, you're right.
On the cheap.
I mean, if you got somebody that's sitting around with millions and billions of dollars who decide, you know, they're going to throw it away and try and be a competition, it's possible. I mean, you got people out there who are, what do you call people who are just got money? Not entrepreneurs, are they? Or there's another word for it.
Well, there's another one. It's venture capitalist.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people with plenty of money. If they decide one day.
Well, I believe that's how Patreon grew, with venture capitalism, Facebook, and probably a whole host of others. That's my guess.
If you've heard of them in the tech world, they're funded by venture capitalists.
Yeah. It starts off with an idea.
Yeah.
And then someone with the money says, hey, let's do that. Right. Yeah.
That's what Brave Browser is. They're funded. They have like 12 million or so in venture capitalists.
Well, I just think YouTube is unique because it's not just another product. It's not just, say, a web browser or just like a car, or it's not a product like that. It's a detailed, humongous task, and there's so many levels to it that you could say, well, we could do this, but there's so many other levels that you would have to accomplish to make it happen. Just looking at it from the storage space, and then to the audience, and then to the making money. I mean, there's just, man, it's that would be a tall order.
I mean, there's people like streaming live for like 9 hours, like Michael does, or 8 hours, or 4 hours. I mean, just imagine, just imagine how much storage space you need for people to be doing this. I mean, it must take. I've seen a video on the storage that Google has. It's a humongous factory, isn't it? It's a humongous, full of hard drives. You know,
but I think that's why I think it's 8 hours. And I think I know, like even this Hangout, at 8 hours you get cut off.
Oh, do you?
Google has a time.
Even Google says 8 hours and 1 minute. Forget about it.
Because I did a reseller live stream years ago that we were right there, and it was giving us warnings 15 minutes ahead that we were going to be cut off. You know, we tried to do it all night.
Well, Brian Lunduke, again, another plug for Brian, but I like Brian. He did like a telethon for his channel. He was trying to raise some money. I think he did it for 24 hours, not like straight. He had to log off and log on. I did.
Right.
I think he did it, or close to 20. Maybe it was like 18 hours. But I think he was able to raise like $5,000. So was it worth it? Probably. Now I realize you got to pay taxes and fees. But I did a 6-hour one, kind of like a toast-a-thon, as it were. Now, I enjoyed it, and people actually stayed on to 3 in the morning. I'm like, guys, I can't do it anymore, you know. So please don't donate no more to my channel for tonight. I'm tired to stay on. I'm done. No, but at some point, when is YouTube gonna just blow up and their hard drives and servers say I quit? I don't know. But Rocco, you make a point, but I'm gonna. And I've seen this before, never underestimate the power of greed and the power of stupidity. So I'm telling you, Amazon is thinking about it. History has proven that just when you think, no, that ain't going to happen, it happens.
I hope it does, man. I hope you're right.
You know, so I think, because I looked, it's a public record what Amazon filed last December, what they have in mind. And they're going to do it. I think they're going to do it. They got $1 gazillion and one of the, I think they're closing in on $1 trillion, $1 trillion. And you think that Bezos and the powers that be are thinking, YouTube, we will control you. You know, I'm just speculating.
Well, and yet they claim, you know, Amazon claims that, you know, they really don't make money. Well, where's all the other excess? Where's it all coming from? You know?
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, they make money. Yeah. They have ways, loopholes. Look, I ordered 3 batteries. My cordless lawnmower, Black & Decker, after 5-6, I had to get batteries for it. You know. Now think, how many people have lawnmowers? Batteries. How many people want to replace batteries in their cell phone? I mean, it's a. Amazon will be $1 trillion company.
But think about Amazon, what it is too. All the inventory that's in their company, and eBay's the same way. Yeah. It's not sitting necessarily all on their store shelves. And when they do get stuff that's in there, there's a large percentage of it that is from their sellers. Okay, even if it's fulfilled by Amazon, and those sellers get charged storage fees for having them sitting there.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's a heck of a business model to sit there and, you know, hey, I don't have to sit there and have all this that inventory sitting here hoping it's going to sell that I own. You know, it's everybody else's around the world or wherever.
Well, I mean, if you have,
go ahead.
If you have a monopoly of something which Google has, and you know, you got the YouTube, you can become complacent. And like they say, competition is healthy, and it does improve things if you have competition, because then you've got to up your game a bit more, right? So, I mean, totally how long can you have one platform with the monopoly? I don't know.
Well, look at Diaspora. If that platform takes off, the only way it's going to take off is people spreading the word and starting to really utilize it. It looks I mean, I just signed up for it last night, and I took a quick glance at it, and I'm going to spend a little more time on it. But you're so used to Facebook, you got to make the effort to go into the other platform if you want to use it to get away from Facebook, or just shut your Facebook account down like Derek did and just say, hey, I had enough and I'm done, and cut the cord. But a platform like that could grow but it's going to need help. It's going to need people to push it out there along with themselves.
You know, there are 2 other competitors to YouTube. I mean, out there already, kind of. Twitch. I mean, live streaming's already perfect on Twitch if they could just get the pre-recorded stuff, you know, where you could do all that stuff like on YouTube. That's definitely a viable competitor. And honestly, because Patreon is set up, you know, to take subscriptions and everything, if Patreon was better at video hosting, if they wanted to get into that game, I think a lot of people.
You know, I wasn't on Patreon long enough to see if it would be something that would be viable or successful for me, and that's my fault. But
Patreon doesn't host any videos.
Right, that's what I was saying.
Right, yeah.
I don't think you would. I don't think you would consider them a competitor. Twitch is definitely a competitor.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's only with the gaming aspect.
Right.
So it's not like your everyday hobbies and everything else. So
yeah, they've opened it up to everything.
Yeah, they've opened it up to other things other than gaming. It's still mostly gaming that goes on there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the main majority of it. Yeah, I mean, Destination Linux is on there. I mean, who would think a Linux podcast would be on Twitch? But yeah, they've opened it up, but that's not their main focus.
Did Derek say you can't upload pre-recorded videos to Twitch? Is that what you said, or?
I don't use Twitch, but it seems like everything is live streaming over there.
I think certain, and I forget how it works, but I think certain accounts can upload videos, like if you get to a certain level or something like that. I forget.
I was going to say, because I thought Zab, like I've looked at some of his stuff on Twitch, and I thought there was his, after he's gotten done with the stream, it was still sitting up there as a recording. I thought.
I'm still learning Twitch now, so there.
Another one that's worth mentioning here is Vimeo, which is a little bit different in that, I mean, there's a free model that I'm going to be incorporating a little bit in my my support system. And then, of course, you get the paid models. Now, it's not like YouTube, so that's the downside.
Right.
But the upside, the huge upside of Vimeo is, A, it's certainly more profitable because you pay for the space.
Right.
But B, is you can use Vimeo better than you can use YouTube for your own site. So if you get a big enough brand following you and people are like, especially when YouTube starts to mess with the algorithms and that irritates people, if you don't know if I've released a video on any of my channels, when my support page is launched, you go right to the home page, you see the most recent video for every channel in one place.
Yeah, but I think for Vimeo to work I think you would almost need to be established already, where you could afford to pay for it, because like the free version is like, I think the upload is limited.
It's 500 megabytes.
Yes, 500 megabytes to upload and 5 gigs of space, I think.
Vimeo, I love Vimeo. Last year, when my dad finishes his film, some of you know about, he says, "Okay, the film's done. I'm going to send you a DVD." I said, Pop. Now, he knows nothing about. I don't need a DVD, but the film director in Rome sent me a private link, password protected, of the film, just to me on Vimeo, and I have the account for myself, and I got to tell you, Tom, I love the way Vimeo looks. It feels, it's professional. Right, Rocco. Now I just have the free account, because I don't make movies and upload movies every day. But I wish I did. I wouldn't be doing this. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm just kidding. Remember what I said? I'm just kidding.
You're coming down, folks.
I know. Look, I usually get at least 2 every night anyway, so what's the difference? But I received the film through Vimeo, and I looked at Vimeo. I'm like, you're right, Tom Rocco. It's professional. It looks great. It's easy to navigate. It's not cluttered. But you do have to pay for the professional, they got like different tiers of it. And it's not unreasonable what they're asking. But you're right, unless you're established, no one's going to cough up, what is it, $500 a year for the high end or something like that? No one's going to do that. Yeah. For movie producers or whatever that use that, professionals, CEOs, of course they're going to pay for that.
Plus, you would have to do a lot more marketing with Vimeo, because they're, like I said, the YouTube has the users, it has the audience. So Vimeo has some, but it doesn't have near as much as YouTube, and you would have to market yourself a ton more just to be successful.
There's a video I think you guys should watch that you might find interesting. I watched it a couple hours ago. Linus Tech Tips. He put one up today. 6 million viewers.
I started watching that show. I didn't finish it.
Well, it was based, and he said it was clickbait. And if you watch it to the end, you'll see why. But it's very, very interesting. Yeah. And he talks about the new algorithm and the way it's looking at things now. And he actually talked about it in the positive light. And if you know, he said there was one video that was up that wasn't subscriber loaded or what. I don't know all the links.
Yeah, it didn't have that. It wasn't pointed towards his subscribers.
Yeah, and it did very, very well on some of the statistics pulling in, surprisingly well, even better than some other videos. So I think that that's something that any YouTuber or content provider, you know, for somebody like him, when you look at what he's putting out, it would find it very interesting because the stats that he shared were actually pretty staggering and pretty interesting. You know,
but the biggest plus or the biggest thing for the YouTube algorithm, really, I mean, you can get down into details, but I mean, the main thing is putting out the content. I mean, TOS, you see it, Derek, you see it. The more content you put out, the more you get out there, the more videos you got, the more you get into the trending area, the more subscribers you're going to get. I mean, Derek, your subscribers have exploded, and your channel is brand new. Yeah. But you put out content almost every day.
That's what the algorithm's like.
Yeah.
You make content daily. You rank better.
That's what he said. They do like 12 to 14 videos a week, he said, and that's no small task. And that's why the staff he has is there because that's the only way they can do it. And interestingly enough, too, he even talked about the videos that had his face on as a thumbnail versus some of the other ones. And even though those may have had more views, the other ones without his thumbnails had more retention. It's really interesting stuff. That's why I think if you get a chance to watch it, you should.
I saw that. That's a good video.
There is a science to the algorithm. There's no question, because I've seen videos on that and did some research, but you know, it's ironic for me, for this channel, that the most profitable videos are not the live events, but that's the ones I enjoy the most because I don't do any freaking editing, you know. No, I'm just being honest. You know, I mean, Rocco, the amount of hours, I really, really, really love it. I like connecting with you guys, sharing a joke, a laughter, a cry, or whatever. But during the last 3 months, I think the most profitable, one of the most profitable, you know, I mean, like I say the word profitable, but all things considered, was the video I did on Makulu Linux. That was at #1 of my. I'm like, really, Makulu? but for nothing against Makulu, nothing. In fact, I said it looks fantastic. I love it. It reminded me of Windows, and that one, for some reason, that one clicked. It just.
I noticed that too. Got a ton of views on that.
I think it also comes down to timing too. Because I noticed on some of my videos where, you know, well, some of them became popular for the KDE settings and stuff. But the KDE Plasma beta video that I did, I think was my most popular video. And the only reason it was because it was the first one on YouTube when that version of Plasma came out.
Okay, all right.
So everybody wanted to see it, and clicked on it. Yeah. And I think that's also got to do with it.
Well, for Makulu, maybe it was timing, or Makulu Linux has a lot of family members who were curious. No, I'm just kidding, but I don't know. But I'm like, wow, maybe I should keep doing like Makulu videos, but it doesn't work that way.
As far as what the algorithms are, I mean, that's all a closely guarded secret. You're never going to figure out exactly what the formula is, but you can bet it has something.
It'll change it.
Yeah, you can bet it has something to do with how regular you make content, comments, shares, likes. I mean, all that stuff matters. So.
But see, that even comes back in comparison, for analogy, to my eBay store. If I sit here and don't list anything today, and I don't list anything tomorrow, and I don't go into my store and be active, all of a sudden, it falls. But you start listing stuff every day, you start doing more activity every day, all of a sudden you're noticing that cha-ching going off, and there's
you need to be active, but you know, I'm not even sure if that's because there's a channel that I watch and he posts 3 videos a week, which is not a lot, and he's doing terrific. But he's happened to click with what he shows. So, you know, obviously you want quality with quantity. You want both. But sometimes it's best just to have quality, forget the quantity, because now you have more time for yourself, you know. Yeah. I know there is no magic bullet here. There is no magic formula.
Nope.
Obviously, well, people here in the chat, how do you guys feel about paying for content in general? I mean, here on YouTube, in general, do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's about time, or now you understand what we're talking about, or you just don't care? I'm just out of curiosity.
Well, a lot of YouTubers are paying for content now with YouTube Red.
True, right.
Yeah. And I even I even paid for YouTube Red so I could watch the first season of Cobra Kai.
Well, you know what? They've been posting it free now, and I hate to admit it, but I like it. It is so silly and stupid, but it's entertaining. Again, it's entertaining.
I think the hardest part that's going to come with this, though, is more content providers, especially for your favorite ones.
Yeah.
Were to go behind a paywall, which I would love to support all of my favorites. But it gets to the point where I think you're going to have to pick and choose. That's why, for me, if I can help out periodically here and there, and I have my eye on a couple of guys here I haven't done anything for yet, and I'm going to. So you do it when you can, but if you had to come down to a monthly thing, like Lunduk now puts out these 1.5-minute teasers. And it got to the point where, you know, I'd rather watch your guys' stuff right now, not anything against Brian. I enjoy Brian, but he's gone off in a different direction with some of his stuff. I actually like Matt Hartley's stuff even better right now.
Matt Hartley's really good.
He's a nice, I enjoy his stuff too. Him and Matt and Brian seem to have a nice connection going on, and I think it's wonderful.
Well, Matt puts out his own specific stuff now too.
Yes, he has Patreon too. Yes, yeah.
And I think as his channel gets a little more growth, you're going to see him probably go behind the paywall too. So what's going to come down to is you're going to almost have to pick and choose the handful of ones that you can within a budget of that, whatever you're willing to do, if it gets to that point. You know.
Yeah, it's the same with supporting Linux distros and projects. You know, you can't, you can only support so many. You know what I mean? You just can't.
Well, what Joe's talking about is a little different. I mean, it's different. You donate to Caden Live once a year for their end of the year drive or whatever. That's not you're buying Caden Live. You were forced to pay that money. You know, that's a little bit different when you're talking about paywalls.
Well, I think he was talking about not being able to afford to pay for
donating to every project you'd like to. Well, we all pick and choose. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, like if all you guys, as an example, and then some. Like I watch quite a few channels, but typically it comes down to specifically. I do watch you guys here too, or whatever. If all of you decided that you were going to do the Lunduk model, let's call it that, and then some other ones that I watch on some other things, it's going to come down to who do I pick and choose, you know, because I want to watch all of you. It's, you know, if it exceeds a budget that I can afford, then what?
Yep.
You know, so that's the downside from and that's where I think a lot of I don't agree with the extreme hateful comments he got at all. I think that was totally uncalled for and outrageous. I do see where maybe people might get a little upset because it's the start of, if that goes that way, then it's like, okay, so now what do I do if I can't afford to do this or watch them? You know, so it was frustration.
Well, it may be
it doesn't necessarily make it right. But,
no, it does. That's what I was going to say. It doesn't make it right. It may be frustrating to see somebody like that. If you're a fan of Brian Lunduk, it may be frustrating to see that you can't watch him anymore. But ultimately, it's his content, and he can do whatever he wants with it.
That's right.
So there really shouldn't have been any comments hateful at all, because it's his stuff.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I kind of understand where some of it was coming from. I don't necessarily say I agree with it, but I think what happened in his case was way off the wall. And, you know, it's just this world in general, I think, is getting really bizarre with some of the things. My daughter shared today a photograph of a gal that she did this. It was some kind of I don't know if it was an event or whatever. It was of one of these decorative cakes, like a tiki cake. It was, you know, that they do these specialty cakes or whatever. And somebody specifically made a trip to go into the store to start literally yelling at the top of her lungs at her that she was being racist and stuff like that because it was a tiki cake. I mean, you know, come on. You know, it's just you're not. I don't know what I'm saying. I think bottom line, it just seems like everybody's getting so extreme with everything.
Well, all the crazy, you know, hateful comments Brian none of us, we don't agree with any of that. But when he posted that video announcing he was making his changes, I mean, watching that video just a few minutes after he uploaded it, where he was announcing he's going behind Patreon, I knew what was coming. I mean, it was such a bad idea because he announced it like, hey, tomorrow's video that I would normally post, you're not getting it. I mean, he posted that the night before that Linux Thursday was supposed to come out. I'm like, oh, people are going to be mad.
Yeah.
People are going to be really mad.
Well, I mean, I saw his announcement, I think it was the first one where he had to disable all the comments and he explained why.
That video's been deleted. Google took it down.
Really?
Different occasions. They took it down because of all the, they actually blamed Brian.
Geez.
I think they flagged Brian's account, because of all the hateful comments. So they gave him a 90-day ban from streaming, I think, because he appealed it and they put it back up, and then a couple of days later Google took it back down again. So that video doesn't even exist anymore where he announces the changes. So I'm getting people like posting on my video I did about his changes, asking me what happened to Brian, because there's not even a video explaining it anymore.
But
he's not banned.
Yeah.
I don't think he's banned now anymore, because there was a pop-up today that he did his little, like I said, his minute-and-a-half thing. If you want to see the rest of it, go to my Patreon or whatever. So I think they put him back up where he's actually streaming. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well, I saw that announcement from him, and I sit back and watch. I'm putting on my New York hat on with my little attitude. So, okay, now where's he going with this? But there was nothing there that was insulting to me as a YouTuber, as a father, as a New Yorker, as a content creator. There was nothing in there that hit me the wrong way. I get it.
Not to you. My point was, I know there are a lot of crazy people out there. You can see it coming. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that if Brian could do everything he wanted to do just from AdSense, I think he would have been happy.
Yeah.
Because there would be no reason to get greedy, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he did it for greed. He did it. What he had to keep doing, to grow and to keep providing content and feel appreciated for it. I don't blame him. And some of the people, or a lot of people, just don't get it. But he's thriving on.
If I could stay at home and make videos and not have to go to someone else's place and be locked down for a whole day, that would be great. But
that's
at the end of the day,
do you want to spend 8 to 10 hours a day at home or driving in traffic to go somewhere?
Yeah,
it's a choice.
we live in a capitalistic world, so we have to make whatever money we can, however we can, right? But I think slow transition would have been a bit nicer rather than it.
No,
that's where I think the problem for him was. It wasn't a slow transition. He should have been a bit more transparent in what he wanted to do, and that I think it would have been a little bit better. And
but that seems to be his MO in his career, is not so
right.
Low transition.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's always ruffled a few feathers, and that's not necessarily it.
Well, I laughed, and we talked about, but I like when he had Matt Hartley on, and they were talking about best ways to test Linux. What did Brian say? Oh, dual booters are schmucks.
Yeah.
Which is me. I didn't take it personal at all. I didn't call Cicely or nothing. I get it. And the way he's right, dual booting is not the best way to test, especially for a newbie. You should have a USB stick or virtual. Better if you have the budget, just buy a spare cheap machine. So I knew what he was saying. He didn't say it, and he didn't say it vindictively. But when he said it, I chuckled and I laughed.
Well, he's got a dry sense of humor.
He's off the cuff. He just and that's his style.
Karma comes around. I mean, one day somebody might make a video that Brian Lunduk sucks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And that could be possible too. I mean,
Derek, when are you going to make that one?
Yeah, Derek.
No.
I mean, a couple of dollars to be a patron to somebody. I mean, if all you guys did it, geez, how many times you go out to one afternoon at a lunch, maybe once or twice a week? There's your, so what's more important? Give up one lunch and watch a bunch of guys you enjoy, or, see, I know what I would pick.
I get a lot, I keep getting a common theme when people support my channel with PayPal, and I always reply with an email, because maybe they want to be anonymous. I don't know. No one's complained, but there's a common thing. you know, I know it's not much, but I want to, and I always reply, I said, thank you, it doesn't matter. And I said, if everybody who watched my channel donated 25 cents, just a quarter, I could redo the whole freaking office. Now, I know that's not the freaking reality, as it were, but there are people who do genuinely want channels to thrive and continue, you know, and they seem embarrassed to give just $1 or $5. I said, you know what, you took the people who donate to any channel, me, DT's, Destiny, you took the initiative, you took a step because you realized that this is a lot of hard freaking work and it's draining. Trust me, after 2,000 videos, I felt burned out, you know. But sure, people want to see more Linux and more this, and I'll try to do a little bit more. But you know what? I have passed my Linux reviews. I have passed the mantle of responsibility onto DistroTube. He's doing a terrific job. So if that's all you want to see, support him and not me. I would not take it personal. No, but there might reach a day where DT may want to take a break.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you haven't hit 2,000 video, and then somebody, right? I mean, you know, 10 years ago there was not of quality Linux content. It sucked, and now there's a look. Look, everybody here who does it. It's wonderful. It's a big family, you know.
Yeah, well, I only upload maybe one video a week, I think, or maybe sometimes two. But I mean, by the time you get home, you shower, your dinner, and all that. I mean, it's 6:30. You don't have a lot of time in between and then you've got family life as well. So, you know.
Yep.
I mean, but I like to try, but all my stuff's on hardware as well.
Yeah.
Not on, it's not on
well, that's good.
VirtualBox.
That's good, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that makes it more time consuming as well. So.
Well, I get a kick out of you guys when you say, like Rocco, he says, oh, everybody has a, you know, when you have your in real life, I'm thinking, well, this is all real life. It's just your personal life.
You have other life commitments.
Yeah, this is a fantasy land.
Well, I didn't know what I had with the channel until I got a comment years ago. I did a simple Ubuntu tutorial. It wasn't like a 40-minute thing or anything. And that comment, it'll stay with me. And that comment was, God bless you. This was exactly what I was looking for. I'm like, wow, that's probably the nicest comment I've ever gotten on any one of my uploads. And that's when I had, there was a hint that maybe I was doing something positive or like above and beyond the Call of Duty.
It is good when you get those.
Oh, comments like that, I mean, it just blew me away. You know, this is way before the PayPal and the Patreon and all that stuff. And then my one regret, I remember at least the comments in that, don't forget us Mac users. And I haven't had the budget to go out and buy a Mac. I don't want it sponsored or give it to me. I just buy it like you would and give you my honest opinion. I just haven't had the budget for it. That's my biggest regret.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people out there that, you know, our videos help out. I've gotten some really nice emails, people thanking. I even got one handwritten letter somebody mailed to me one time that was, you know, like a full page handwritten that, you know, thanked me for something.
Really? That's pretty cool.
Well, once again, our channels have become forums, safe havens, sanctuaries, whatever you want to call it, for people out there who maybe it was 10 years ago they went to a forum and they were treated like, you know, dog poo-poo. Now it's not the case.
Oh yeah, that happens.
Yeah. And on the flip side, the nice people, there's also the people that send you the hate mail. Me and Rocco we're going to talk about that one day. We're going to share stories on that because I've got some.
I don't think I could read out some of the emails I got.
Well, you know what? Getting back onto Lunduk for a second, all the neo-Nazis that came out of the woodwork, you know, because of his Jewish faith. You know, I got some of that on my video about Lunduk. I had to delete those. In the past, I made a video about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, in which I used the term Nazi in a negative way. And that video was flooded with all these neo-Nazis basically telling me I don't know what a real Nazi is. Here's links. Here's all this propaganda. They were posting videos. They were posting links to pictures of Hitler and Goebbels. I had to delete like 24 comments off that video, start, you know, blocking users. So when I say there's some real nut jobs on YouTube, there's a ton of them.
Yeah, that's one thing about doing these lives. I don't get any of those nut job comments. I don't anymore.
I think I had a live stream. I think I had a live stream rated by a 4chan once. That was exciting.
Okay.
That's awesome. Like 10, 15 people in there.
Yeah,
I basically made every regular user a mod, and it was just hilarious.
Well, I want to give Colin's channel a shout out because
yes,
the video he made about Pop OS is one of the reasons why I have it on my machine right now, Colin.
Oh, you got it on there, have you, Rondo?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
So thank you for making that, man.
But just know, Colin, if something goes wrong with it, you're also going to be the guy he blames.
I would never do that.
Hey, I always have to be.
That'll be a challenge to find a fix.
Yeah.
EB is in the house. English Bob's in the house. The master of cursing. No, but he says they have also. He says, TOS. They've also become the family's front room where people can relax, learn, and make new friends. These discussions. Absolutely, Bob. Absolutely.
Rocco, weren't you having problems with Lubuntu as well? Were you trying to install Lubuntu?
Yeah.
The LXQT. What were you installing on? Were you installing on UEFI?
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't install. I've tried a couple of machines, UEFI. Legacy, no problem.
Really?
So I don't know what's, because I'm running it now. It's running on Legacy. It's beautiful. Actually, it's not bad. I must say, it's pretty good. It's running pretty well. So
well, the live CD ran really well. I mean, I actually liked it. I wanted to run it for a while to try it out, but I just couldn't get it installed.
If you got one machine with that you can use Legacy, it should work.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
I was thinking about doing a live stream and just have people in the chat be as honest as possible, family friendly. Of course.
That's dangerous.
That is dangerous.
I'm a New Yorker, so if I could take it's for the other people listening, I would feel, but do a live stream where what direction do you want to see this channel? What do you want to see more of? What do you want to see less of? What do you want me to shut up on? No, it would just be an experiment just to see, am I doing it? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Just to see where we can make this more viable, at least for this channel.
If you could put it on a 30-second delay and then bleep out, any crazy comment.
Or I should start off with a warning: may not be suitable for idiots or something, But
TOS, we want to talk more about the lead up to the end of the dinosaurs. That's what we want to talk about.
Oh my God! Years ago, I think it was 4 years ago. This is when me and Spatry started clicking. The weekly news and nonsense. And I came across a story, and you can look it up. True story. That supposedly there was a theory. I don't know if it's been debunked, but there was a theory about what happened. How did the dinosaurs become extinct? Too much methane was the theory. They were farting too much. I kid you not. So Spatry says, "Oh, come on. You mean they farted themselves to death?" Oh, I could just fish it. And this is before we had our cameras on and just avoid. Oh, come on. So we went back and forth. Well, look it up, But you're right, Colin. That was one of the most bizarre, And of course, Spatry, well, that's really a crappy story. Yeah, okay, all right, But
the reason why it's still in my head, TOS, is because I was sitting down at tea break at work the other day. You uploaded that video, I think, a 1 minute video.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't stop laughing, seriously.
Well, when I first read it, I was like, oh, come on. But I've shared so many things, and not just me, Spatry on the news and nonsense, but that's the sense of, that's the entertainment part. I guess it's enlightening, too, to prove how much of an idiot I am to even post that story. But there were many moments that, there was one of my favorite cleaner stories was fire extinguisher factory burns down in Chicago. Across the street from a fire station.
Nice.
I can't make this up. You really can't. There was one I did with the lovely singer Stephanie Forey. I'm going to give her a shout out. Check out a friend of mine, Stephanie Forey, and she is another independent singer songwriter with the Patreon page. If you could help her out, she's working on her next album, and she needed some money, some help to get in the studio. But we did a few news and nonsense with her, but I came across a story a lawyer in Florida was defending his client in an arson case as his pants caught fire.
Really?
He had one of those vapor things. He was fiddling it, and it caught fire in his pants, and he was defending his client against a fire case. How could I possibly dream that up? But I guess the point I'm getting at, yeah, this is all about family, sharing information, entertainment, and so on and so. And I think that's why people stick around, because some channels have become unique. My channel is going to be different than Rocco's or Destination Linux or Tom's. But I think nowadays, in fact, I know for you guys watching, for content consumers, it's a wonderful time. It's just rough for us who try to keep up with this and try to be, financially stable, as it were. It's tough. But, maybe somewhere down the line things will stabilize or be balanced. I don't know how. Anna Rita says, I want to see more focusing on topics and show more skin.
Wait,
okay, how's this? Is this good? Okay, I'm done. Of course.
Hey, on that note, no, I gotta get going. I gotta get up for work, guys. Thank you.
Okay, Rock. Okay, man.
Later, Rocco.
Have a good one. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to jet to. Yep.
See ya.
All right.
See ya.
Robert Fitzpatrick says, Dino Fart Linux. Why not? We had Hannah Montana, so why not?
All right, guys. I'm gonna have to get off.
All right, DT.
Yeah, I got
have a good one.
I got to get up at daylight.
Okay.
See you later, Derek.
See you, Derek.
It's after 12. But see, this is the beauty of this. When you're having fun, time flies, and it is so true. Of course, we covered a lot of topics for this evening. Those of you who came in late, if I missed your question, I didn't mean to ignore you. If you haven't already, check out the links below in the show notes. There's some relevant stuff there, of course. Again, if you want to support the channel, PayPal is probably the best way, direct way for this channel. Check out Switch to Linux. PC TLC is Collins. Big Daddy Linux, Destination Linux. Anna Rita, will you stop? Showing skin always sell. Really? Okay. Anna Rita, you want to chip in $100 if I do this? Or what about this? Hey, is that good? Or do two arms. Whoa, hang on, I got one here. Hey, is that better? Oh man. Since we're on the topic of humor, yes, and oh geez, this is a family show. Okay, wait. Let's see, what else can I do? I don't know. Maybe I could show a picture of me in shorts and no shirt. I guess that would be okay. It is summer, but not tonight.
So you want to do the American version of EB's channel? Because he did that one night.
Did he really? Oh,
he was having no shirt on. Yeah, he was getting teased about it. Isn't that right, EB?
Okay.
Who was it? Review Tech USA did a video of without a shirt at one point in time.
Yeah.
Maybe I should open up a can of worms tonight. Okay, anybody here who can keep it family friendly, what would you like to see more and less of on my channel? And you can be honest if it's clean, to give it a shot. Now remember, I am a New Yorker. I have no ego to bruise. If you guys want to post it. If not, that's okay. And then we'll just go down the line. We'll go to Tom's channel. We'll go
Sure, why not?
What would you like to see more of, less of, or it's just right, or it's fine the way it is? I suppose that's an all. That's an answer. I don't know. I've never asked the question. What would you like to see more or less of? Open up a can of worms with only shorts on. No. Lamer Linux, the channel is perfect. Thank you. Of course, we had about 20 people jump off now. Now they were going to end it soon, but okay.
Your little 2 or 3 minute or 4 minute spurts that you do from the car about something or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't done those in a while. I keep forgetting to bring my camera. I have like a little old flip cam that records in full 1080p in audio, and it's perfect size. I keep forgetting to bring it.
Everybody, EB wants everybody in a mankini.
Ah. No.
We don't want to scare everybody away, Heather.
Sometimes I'll flirt. Yeah, really. Sometimes I'll flirt a little bit with Coding Commander. in Florida. You know, flirt in a good way. You know, but that's as far as I go. Kyrie says my channel is fine. Okay. I suspect that's probably going to be a common answer. Wimps, you can't tell the truth. No, I'm just kidding.
The reality is, if you look at what you have, if it's working for you,
yeah,
you know, you try
to
change
it was more how to get the AdSense revenue back up the way it was, and maybe I can't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe just one of those things where it's not going to come
back on when you were at your peak performance, where that came from, and maybe
it was doing a lot of the Linuxy stuff, like what DistroTube is doing. That's where it really was more profitable. But I just got burned out, and then you know, having equipment that just takes too long to edit, and because of the lack of the budget, I can't afford it. Especially my son graduating high, so I just can't do it. You know.
Well, why don't you do live Linux stuff like a lot of other people do as well on the odd occasion? Throw a video. Unedited.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. Just do a review, and if it crashes, and just don't edit it. I guess I could do that. I did some of those too. Yeah. And then
so I think people like to watch that because because you just like looking around and reviewing it or whatever. I mean, for me, I do tutorials, so I have to edit my stuff because otherwise people get lost in what you're trying to show, right? But just reviewing a distro, I think, is fine for, you know, a live video.
Anna Rita, you're bad. He's TOS. Show what your mama gave me. She gave me great food. She gave me homemade cookies, pasta, cannoli. Hey, it's awesome. I think English Bob's. I should have a greens or something with the caddy trunk and the that'll make people feel friendly. Thanks. Yeah. I'll have a horse's head in the trunk too, right?
Yeah.
I suspect with that question I asked, it'll be the same for, you know, Switch to Linux's channel. He's doing just fine, but it was more. But maybe one of these nights I'll just have a full-blown show, and is what do you want to see more or less of? And be honest.
Well, the one thing Tom did, I give him credit for, is he still gets a little excited sometimes, but there's a couple times. I remember I mentioned this to you, Tom. I said, when you sit there and you get really excited, you go like, and all of a sudden the volume goes poof, like this, and you're like, whoa.
I think I had one of those today. One of those showed up on the news today.
Yeah, I was watching. So,
Kyrie asked, do I ever get tired of doing Linux distro reviews? When I hit 2000, and it took and then the length of time to edit and the AdSense revenue dropped, it was like a perfect storm of, I don't want to do this anymore, or at least not that app, but that's what was more popular, it seemed. So it's kind of a catch-22 to answer your question, and that's about as brutally honest as I can be. If I was making the AdSense money I was, and I could upgrade the office and do what I wanted, I would. It would be more enjoyable doing Linux distro reviews. I would be doing more what DT is doing. But I passed on the mantle of responsibility to him, and he's doing just fine.
Well, Tom's got the background going really well. On your last video, Tom, you had like the background of what was it, Linux Lite in the background, the wallpaper. That was quite good. I like that.
Yeah. That was a uploaded wallpaper from their forum. I just typed in. They have a forum section on Linux Lite's forum dedicated to people uploading wallpapers.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, I think when I started, I think, you know, we talked about timing is everything. I think when I started, I think it was the right timing to do Linux reviews and installation tutorials from a Windows user, which I guess is still somewhat unique, but I think the timing was right because not a lot of people were doing it and just calling it as I see it, good and bad, for both Linux and Windows. They just weren't doing it. It was like, Windows is the best, but all you use is Windows. You say Linux is the best, but all you use is Linux. So why should I trust you? Why should I trust you? I'm just the way it was, you know. But the timing was right, and that's why I think the channel grew and the AdSense revenue grew, and I was happy. But you know,
I think you've just shifted with the times, TOS. I mean, because like you said, you burn out with the reviews and all that, but I think live streaming has become something. I mean, everybody seems to be doing a lot of live streaming now.
I think somewhere down the line, that is the future.
Yeah, live streaming is better for
Right,
algorithms and things too.
Right,
so.
right.
I don't know if I want to do that, but maybe I have to look at it in the future and just do some things live streaming.
It's not something that everybody's comfortable with, and that is understandable for whatever reasons. Maybe they're shy, or they don't have the voice for it, or they talk too slow, too fast. Whatever the case may be. Being born in New York, I never had a problem with being in front of people or talking to people. The challenge has been keeping my mouth clean when I got to say something. I go, don't stop, But after a couple dozen of these, you kind of get the hang of it, Colin. It's not that hard. Yeah.
Don makes a good point here. He says, in my honest opinion, or humble opinion, do we ever resolve that? These days, it's hard to do distro reviews since there's very little changing between versions of each distro, and each distro is starting to seem like all the other systems.
Yes.
And I agree. I mean, and I find myself doing slightly fewer distros. Right now, I'm kind of slowly steering more towards making, doing things without relying on all of these tech services. So I'm trying to help people figure out Nextcloud, figure out, software alternatives, whether it's being a web server or something else. And, just looking at all the different softwares and stuff like that. So
and see, I think he does. One of your strong points, Tom, is because you are so privacy geared and driven, which not that any of us are, but you take it to the next level and you show how it can be done for people who want to do that. I know I've learned some things from you already that way.
Yeah, and I practice it. That's one of the things I find funny. I love watching level 1 tech and level 1 news, but they're always like, oh, the privacy stuff, let's stop using Windows.
Right.
But Tom, Tom get it. Tom's a web designer as well, so you I think understand a lot more of the privacy side of things than what we all do, because obviously making websites you need to understand that stuff. A lot of that stuff I get lost in translation, to be honest. But I mean,
let me say a quick hello to Lima. Shia. I hope I said that right. That's somebody new. Everybody, please say hello to I missed you, Lima.
Hello, Lima.
Hi, Lima.
He says hello, world. Hello. Sorry, we've been chatting here for 3. I didn't mean to skip it. That's what I really, really, really feel bad. But everybody, hi. Please say hello. Yeah. Interceptor says, TOS, do you do the best at interacting with people individually? Don't change that. And that I will not change. Before I started doing live, before I even hooked up a webcam, people got attached to my way of speaking, my voice, and they said, it's very soothing, very natural. That's why they've stuck around. And thank you for that. I have been blessed with the voice. I realized it years later, with that radio voice or whatever you want to call it. One guy wrote, gee, I saw your face for the first time. He says, I wasn't expecting Al Pacino. I took it as a compliment. Say hello to my little friend.
But see, Tom's got one other added advantage too. He's got the cat.
Yes.
The cat
cats are always. I
actually had comments to say you should get rid of the cat. It's too distracting.
Really?
No. To me, I think that.
I mean, I wouldn't show for the whole show or anything, but use it as a prop. I mean, I don't have a cat. I have a little fake raccoon, blue.
Speaking of, I can't show you because my camera right now, I made an office adjustment a couple weeks ago. My camera is actually mounted to the wall, but the cat has a spot where he's curled up. And I'm on a big, I actually have a U desk. It's you can see part of the desk here.
Okay.
Well, he's under one of the corners, and I have a little table down there that my Mac sits on. And he has found that he loves laying under that little table, so he's kind of chilling down there.
Yeah.
He's actually using my I have a fanny pack down there that he's using.
Okay.
That's actually where I keep my controllers and stuff.
Yeah, I've got a similar setup, and every once in a while I don't realize my cat has made its way in here if I don't shut the door. And I have a homemade little bench that I use to prop my feet up on, and I'll go and put my feet up and I hear because the cat's been sitting on it, and I didn't realize that it's there.
Yep.
I'm gonna let's do a little. I don't have any like news and nonsense except I did these. Let's see if I can find it if I still have it.
The showstopper's here. Showstopper's here.
Yeah.
Hello.
There we go.
You might want to check comments, Toss. You might want to check comments, please.
Hang on a second. Let me go back to that. Okay, give me a second here.
Do I sound okay now,
Need
guys?
more moderators in here. Take care.
Yeah,
We
really.
can hear you at least.
Fisherman loves Linux. Hi. I guess you got to go. Okay, cool.
Fishman.
Okay.
You see it?
Yep. Yep, I got it.
Yeah. Family friendly. He's family friendly.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I was very clear. So, thank you guys. Yeah.
Anyway, but no, this, the thing is we've said this before too, and it sounds like a broken record sometimes, but it's the truth. I mean, it is when you say the Linux community is, it really is. And yes, there's always some extremes on one end or the other, things like that. But I've never seen it get so out of hand where people get irate toward each other or whatever. Like
I don't recall. I mean, there's heated debates.
Yes.
Once in a while, which is good, because people viewing it can say this is real. This is how it should be. Debates, but respectful. But that's part of reality. So
I think there's a lot. I think Linux is a lot different. I haven't really seen the bad side of Linux. I've just been using it for a long time and just decided I had no one to talk to and sort of started making videos and stuff, and then got into watching Rocco and then started joining. But I mean, I've heard about it, but I haven't really seen it that much. But I think it's a lot better now, and I think the community is a lot better compared to what people say it used to be like.
JTech Zero's in the house. Hello, JTech. I have not tried Kali Linux.
To me, I still look at myself as probably, even though I've learned a lot over the last year or two, probably the least knowledgeable about Linux in many ways. But because I live in it every day now, I think that's made a huge difference for me. But what I'd like to think, everybody brings something to the table, is because I'm more a computer tech guy, hardware-wise, and I don't know everything there is to know about that either, but I do, that's what I do. Also, aside from my resale business, I have, computer business, but I know where to get one of the things I learned years ago when I first got into even my construction business is if you don't know how to fix something, find a way to learn it. You go to somebody where you could get the answer to help you fix it and get it that way, and that'll be the best teacher. So the thing is, even if I don't know all the answers, I'll usually research it to find the answers, and what that does is not only allow me to get the answer to the person who needs it, but I've just learned something too, or I've at least put it into my data bank.
On that thread, I was kind of unusual in that, like, I think I'm like the same age as Brian Lunduke. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure we're like the same age. And what's funny is all through high school for me is I did not care for technology at all. In fact, it was kind of funny because I got the highest score in our chemistry class and I never touched a calculator. The teacher was like, what? And I just did all my math up and down the margins of the paper. And I never really touched it, but I looked at it and said, I'm going to go off to college, and computers are the way for the future, whether I like it or not. So I'm not going to buy a computer and be an ignorant fool. And so I bought a computer, which was Windows 95 at the time, and I took the time to learn it because I wasn't going to have a big computer and be scared to push a button. And I broke stuff and I fixed stuff.
But that's the learning process.
And that's it. You can't be afraid to try something. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it boils down to is we all have to start somewhere, and we just need to figure out what it takes to learn. And sometimes it's reading manuals, sometimes it's watching stuff. The funny thing is, speaking about learning stuff, I've published 2 books right now. The first one I paid for a self-publishing package, which was really bad, And the second book I did entirely myself with free and open source software. Cover designed in GIMP,
Nice.
The interior design in LibreOffice, the ebook published on Sigil and Calibri, and the quality of the one I did was way better than the quality of the one I paid way too much money to have done. And that's the difference of
you have choices.
To learn how to learn.
You have choices, right? Absolutely.
So now I'm like, well, heck, I can sell those services and probably undercut their price and produce a higher quality product. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things we're moving toward.
You know what I think would be helpful if you're looking for other content to do, and again, I don't know if this falls within your realm, either of you guys, or even Colin's away right now, is there are videos out there about the add-on software that's used, the free software, whether it's Libre, and I know you've done some, Tom, but I do think there's needs to maybe be a little bit more updated and fresh, not just quick overview content. I mean, like you were doing the GIMP how-tos for a while and things like that. That, you know, I've been using GIMP for a long time, but there's still a ton I don't know about.
Yeah, and I would probably
I picked up things or vice versa. So
it does a lot. Yeah, I mean, it does.
I think that there's not enough quality how-tos for this stuff that complements Linux.
Here's a question. Let me ask it to you guys in the comments. As I'm moving toward my own support platform, one of the things I want to do is maybe do like 1 or 2 special projects a month, probably one special project a month, which is a little bit more involved. And then I'm thinking, do I want to put those out only for the supporters, or just put them out for the supporters first, and then a few months down the line release them for everybody else? Because I'm thinking that what I want to do is I really wanted to show people how to do full production on a book yourself. But then I'm thinking that sounds like a special project thing that I don't know, and I'm not completely sure yet what I want to do. But I have to figure it out because I'm on the last chapter of redesigning my book.
Well, and see, there's nothing wrong with, I think, the other thing too is if you have a video series that's geared towards something so specific, it's no different than paying to go to a class. That maybe you want to put a monetization on something like that for somebody to gather. You know, and that's just one other avenue. I guess I'm not saying it's the only thing, but that's just one other avenue that maybe you can
something I could do with that too is, I mean, obviously any of my patrons would have, or patrons or any other supporters would have it, but it's also just something I can individually sell very well if I produce it well enough.
Yeah.
Let's it's almost 12:30, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this with some nonsense. I've done this before. These are actual church blooper announcements. Tom I know has a Christian channel, so maybe he's heard these before. Everybody in the chat, or whoever hasn't had a chance to ask a question, or if I missed something for me or my friends here, comment or suggest and keep it clean. Now's your chance. I'll try to keep track of the comments for this evening. Thank you, all of you who, I think at one time we hit over 50 viewers, I think. But yeah, thank you again. If you're new, don't be shy. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. Phew. Say hello. It is late. Say hello. Oh, say ho. No, but say New York. Hey, how you doing? Okay. Now's your chance. If you have a question, we will try to answer it if you're stuck on something with Linux or Windows for that matter. If anything tonight you don't understand, let us know. If you have any suggestions, let us know. All right, so let's go through some nonsense and we'll wrap it up. How does that sound? These are actual. I don't make this up. These are over the years. These are actual church announcement, church bulletin bloopers that were not proofread, or someone doesn't understand English. Okay. For those of you who have children and don't know it, we have a nursery downstairs. The 8th graders will be presenting Shakespeare's Hamlet in the church basement on Friday at 7 p.m. The congregation is invited to attend the tragedy. This being Easter Sunday, we will ask Mrs. Lewis to come forward and lay an egg on the altar. The preacher will preach his farewell message after which the choir will sing "Break Forth with Joy." Thursday night, potluck supper. Prayer and medication will follow.
Sounds like a Jim Jones thing.
Yeah, there's hundreds of these. I won't do all. Maybe I'll split them up through the course of a month or so. There's like a couple hundred of these at least. Okay, let's see. Scouts are saving aluminum cans, bottles, and other items to be recycled. Proceeds will be used to cripple children. The outreach, bless the Lord for humor, right? Yeah. The outreach committee has enlisted 25 visitors to make calls on people who are not afflicted with any church.
Well, I feel afflicted sometimes.
Afflicted. Evening massage, 6 p.m. Okay. The pastor would appreciate it if the ladies of the congregation would lend him their electric girdles for the pancake breakfast next Sunday morning. I've been going to the wrong church, let me tell you, man.
Something so simple.
Oh, God, man. It's... okay, what else do I have
Start
here?
off the show with these.
This is still family, right? I think, okay, all right.
We're good.
All right. The audience is asked to remain seated until the end of the recession. Okay.
Take a while.
Low self-esteem support group will meet Thursday at 7 to 8:30. Please use the back door. Ushers will eat late covers.
Oh my God.
The
Hannibal's church.
Yeah, right. The third verse of Blessed Assurance will be sung without musical accomplishment.
Right.
The Reverend, they give a name, the Reverend spoke briefly, much to the delight of the audience. Let's see here. Next Sunday, Mrs. So-and-so will be soloist for the morning service. The pastor will then speak on "It's a Terrible Experience" in quotations.
Yeah.
Due to the rector's illness, Wednesday's healing services will be discontinued until further notice. Oh my God. This is obviously a typo. The music for today's service was all composed by George in celebration of the 300th anniversary of his birth. Wow.
300th, yeah.
Remember in prayer the many who are sick of our church and community. Oh my God.
Pray for their safe returns.
The concert held in Fellowship Hall was a great success. Special thanks are due to the minister's daughter, who labored the whole evening at the piano, which has usually fell upon her. Oh my. 22 members were present at the church meeting held at the home of Mrs. Someone last evening. Mrs. Crutch and Mrs. Rankin sang a duet, "The Lord Knows Why."
Yeah.
A song fest was held at the Methodist Church Wednesday instead of held. Let's see what else. What else is here? I'm going to end this here in a minute.
Got a little spell check, right?
Yeah, really. This is probably my all-time favorite. It's so simple, it's dumb. Don't let worry kill you off. Let the church help. Pastor is on vacation. The pastor is on vacation. massages can be given to the church secretary. This is the last one. The rosebud on the altar this morning, is to announce the birth of Mr. So-and-so, the sin of Reverend and Mrs. So-and-so. I think I'll end it. That was a whole bunch, but actual church bulletin bloopers. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That's they're still funny almost 20 years later. Some of them are that old, when I first lived.
Link in the comments.
Yeah.
Funny.
Electric girdles. Yeah, right, Don.
Electric girdles. That's a funny one.
Yeah.
Tossed going to end the stream with an old Chuck Norris fact. Alexa's good for that, by the way. Chuck Norris facts and jokes. Let's see. Chuck Norris once got hit by a train. Nobody on the train survived. Chuck Norris got bit by a cobra. 3 days later, the cobra died.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are tons, hundreds, maybe thousands. When Chuck Norris does push-ups, he doesn't push up, the earth moves down.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But anyway, Alexa used to be good at laughing on its own. Yeah, there was a bug in there last month or something. That would be freaky.
That's all you need. Middle of the night, Alexa starts laughing hysterically all on its own.
The other night, I asked Alexa, I was being mean. I said, Alexa, are you a BITCH? There was no answer. Nothing but silence. Just to see what she would say,
I've done that with Siri on my phone, and it says, that wasn't very nice, Joe. I would never talk to you that way. It's like, wow. I got scolded by my phone.
Wow.
Anyway. All right, I guess we're done for this evening. I didn't see any questions or outstanding comments, right? Did I miss anything? I hate to leave anybody out if I missed it. Okay. I had a good laugh doing this. I'll do another round of these church bloopers maybe sometime this weekend. So,
there were some good ones. That's for sure.
Tom, what's good? Tomorrow night or Sunday night for another Life in Linux? Since last time, I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
Because I don't know either, to be quite honest.
I'm not even doing a tinfoil hat time tomorrow because I'm so busy.
You want to try Sunday evening?
It would have to be after 9.
Yeah.
Is that going to work for you?
Probably. I'll let you know, yeah.
Yeah, we can do after 9 on Sunday. I think I won't be free until then.
Okay.
I could probably do late tomorrow, but...
all right, we'll just skip tomorrow night then.
Okay.
Tom, you get a pass because you did kind of one with your hat on today, didn't you? Your weekly roundup. So.
Yeah, well, I do that every week. I mean, usually Saturday I do tinfoil hat time. Yeah. I'm thinking I might change my schedule to give myself a day off on Saturdays, at least a no prep day. Because what I'm finding is the tinfoil hat times, that does take a lot of research prep. And I'm wondering, is there a better time or not? Because what I've done is I've essentially lost my Saturday almost entirely because of those. So, and tomorrow I have some things going on in the afternoon. So I'm going to do an unprepared live stream, just kind of live hangout tomorrow afternoon is what I'm going to do.
I might do do a Good Morning Linux. For some reason, I enjoy doing those Sunday morning if I'm awake, if I'm up.
If you want, we could do a Life in Linux on tomorrow afternoon at maybe 1.
I don't know if I'll be around tomorrow. I don't know. I'll let you know in the morning, but I just don't know. Yeah. Okay. I'll let you know. All right. Well, I think for this fun-filled morning now, we're done, I believe. Thank you, everybody who joined in on the chat. I hope these live streams are informative as well as entertaining. And if you can, don't forget to support your favorite YouTubers. Very important. One way to do it is I turned off ad blocker on YouTube, and I do watch some of the some of the marketing, some of the commercials, so some of the ads. But that's one way to
Yeah.
So yeah, Chuck Norris's tears cure cancer, but he doesn't cry. Good one. All right, guys, I'm going to end it. I'm going to go to bed because I'm tired. So
no worries.
Yeah, we'll be on again sometime. Thank you, everybody here, and we'll catch you somewhere down the line. Everybody have a good evening.
See you, Tom. See you, Joe.
See you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.